America's favorite sandwich delivery guys.
Nice work, Johnson.
Wintry conditions in Chicago, in the Windy City, getting set for the Patriots and the Bears. A pair of first-place teams about to duel. New England leads the AFC East by a game over the Jets, who will battle with Miami in this same hour, while Chicago now can go 2 up on the Packers as Green Bay falls earlier today to Detroit. They're on top of the NFC North. There you see it, 26, snowing, 9-degree wind chill, and the winds are steady at 30, gusting to 40. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms. What a day this is going to be to watch.
Well, I hate to say it's going to be fun to watch it. The elements, how you deal with it. To me, today, the coaches will have so much in determining the outcome. The decisions they make, like Chicago, they want the win behind their back to start this game. When to try the long field goals. How you manage the football game could be a big deterring to who's going to win.
Well, it's been snowing since the middle of the night. And the Bears, as you mentioned here, all about coaching decisions. Bears defer. I'd like to welcome many of you just joining us here, getting set at Soldier Field for Chicago and New England. The wind chills at 9 degrees. Wind steady, Phil, at 30, gusting to 40. We've been watching it here. We've been here for 5 hours, just swirling around. You see these squalls at times just kick up the snow off the ground, and it's almost like whiteout conditions at times. Robbie Gould sends it down to the Patriots, to Sammy Morris. And Morris able to get a good piece of running. And Tom Brady comes out after back-to-back 4-touchdown performances, putting up 45 points in each of the last 2 games, 17 touchdowns since he last threw an interception. His line and his offense so far improved since Logan Mankins ended the holdout. Meanwhile, Deion Branch, he's been on a roll too. The old favorite target of Brady back, and it looks like old times. So from the 31 of the Patriots, Brady comes out shotgun. It'll be interesting to see what kind of day it'll be like for the passers, as Brady goes underneath to Welker for the short completion. We are 1 play into the game here at Chicago. Jim Nantz with Phil Simms. Jaguars defeat Oakland 38-31. Huge win for Jacksonville. Staying on top there in the AFC South. A 2nd down and 3 coming up for the Patriots. On 1st down, they hit Welker for 7 yards. It's Green Ellis stacked up in a hurry by a whole slew of Chicago defenders, including Brian Urlacher. This Chicago defense, Phil, is so much improved since Julius Peppers came over in the offseason from Carolina. Urlacher is healthy this year. Briggs is too. They are without Tino Isamoa today, out with a knee. Tillman, the last time these two tangled 4 years ago, picked off Brady 2 times. Brady in a throwing down here on 3rd and 6. In traffic, spins away, but not this time. And the Bears force the 3 and out. Donahue and Urlacher combine on the hit on Brady.
The Chicago Bears defense, they believe this front 4. Donahue to the outside. Julius Peppers stops Tom Brady for stepping up. But they believe their front 4, if you don't chip our defensive ends, if you don't help out those offensive linemen, we are going to get to Tom Brady today.
A sack that cost the Patriots 3 yards. Zoltan Mesko on 1 hop down to Hester. Now trying to reverse field in the slippery conditions and pointing for a block. He's got it. Hester with a good return, and he's out of bounds. Near midfield. Pushed out by Ninkovic. 38-yard punt, 16-yard run back.
Well, you don't want to punt the football to Devin Hester. Bill Belichick said it. I don't know if you have a choice today. The weather, the conditions, the punters, they cannot control it the way they hope. And Devin Hester, looks like the snow and the slippery field doesn't slow him down too much.
I thought he's making a mistake at first, Phil, when he decided to turn around and go to the other side.
He's one of those guys, Jim, when he reverses the field, even the coaches don't go, oh no, they go, okay, this might work, because his success rate has been phenomenal over the years.
Bears first snap from their own 46. Matt Forte, patient on that right side, picks up about 3. Well, Jay Cutler really starting to get plugged in with this Mike Martz offense. Better by the week, very efficient the last month. They've won 5 in a row. Chicago did not lose in the month of November. And winning last week against Detroit as well. Cruz, 13 years, the center for that Chicago offensive line. And Johnny Knox on pace for a 1,000-yard season. Second-year man out of Abilene Christian. So 2nd and 7. Chicago from the 49. They'll run it again. Forte to the New England side, and he's near a first down. Maybe a yard short. That New England defense, what a performance on Monday night against the Jets. It all came together. They got the veteran Wilfork right there on the nose. So many young guys out there. There's Guyton, who steps in for Brandon Spikes, who violates the league rule on 4-game suspension coming up for Spikes. And you saw also McCourty, who's had picks in each of the last 3 weeks. His 3rd and 1 coming up. 3rd and 1, and Forte is tackled for a loss. Ninkovich comes up, and McCourty also loses 2.
Yeah, there you go. Devin McCourty, defensive backs for the Patriots and the Bears. You better be able to tackle. And that time, Devin McCourty just did a nice job navigating the turf, not slipping, under control, gets back there and stops the first down.
Wes Welker will try to return the punt of Brad Maynard.
I'm disappointed. The weather's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
It's gotten better, hasn't it?
It has.
It's improved. Maynard takes a little off this one and gets the job done down at the 12-yard line. Corey Graham downs it. 32-yard punt down inside the 20. 3 and out for each side. We're back. The winds are gusting. The snow is blowing.
See, I just had to complain a little.
Yeah, it got worse during the break. Now the second series of the game for the Patriots from the 15. And you see they had to remark the field. Red lines try to help things out. And that's Welker with a gain of 8. But they've been out here sweeping, snow plowing, trying to find all kinds of ways to give some sort of distinction to the markings on the field.
The red line, great idea. It really makes it for the players, the coaches, the coaches upstairs, so they can give information down the sidelines to help them on situations.
Ball's on the Patriots 23. And Green Ellis has a huge hold. Manning is able to drag him down. The first down of the game for either side, and the run of 12.
Yeah, this New England offense, we saw it last week against the New York Jets and Green Ellis. It's, Jim, you and I talked about it last night with some of the New England Patriots, I think with Tom Brady. Green Ellis, as the year has gone along, he looks quicker and faster, and he's absolutely doing his part of the job, getting it done for the New England running game.
And he's rushed for 11 touchdowns over the last 10 games. Green Ellis.
Logan Mankins being back has helped the running game too.
First down from the 35. That's incomplete. What's it like throwing out there today?
Well, you know, it's going to be tough. But first, let's look at this New England offense. We talk about the passing game so much. Watch the left guard Mankins. Pulls, just sticks him and Dan Copen down the field. You don't have to knock them out of the way sometimes. If you hit the defender hard enough, they can't get off the block, and that creates a nice run for the Patriots offense.
Second down and 10. Brady's first ever appearance at Soldier Field. When they played in 02 against Chicago on the road, it was down in Champaign, Illinois, when they were restoring Soldier Field. There's a pass that wobbled a bit, even with that rifle arm of Brady. So influenced by the gust out there. It'll be 3rd and 10 coming up. Of course, you played here in a playoff game quarter century ago, and it was a very blustery, cold day as well.
It was, and it was extremely windy. And I'd never put gloves on, but I came out warmed up and said, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Put the gloves on, dealt with it pretty well. It's a little different now. The field being grass, the fact that these quarterbacks can rub up these footballs and just make them easier to hold and throw, I think helps them out a great deal too.
3rd down and 10. Ball on the New England 35. Excellent protection, and the catch made for a 1st down. Boy, that line sealed the pocket for Brady, and Welker, the recipient, 17-yard Brady strike.
That's right. The offensive line giving him time. The field's a little slick, so it makes it tougher to dig in and really push. Tom Brady, really nice throw. So far, as you watch him throw the football, he's controlling it very well, and the weather it's just not a factor. He's piercing the football right through the wind.
3 completions, all of them to Welker. On 1st down, it's Green Ellis off the right side, and Manning comes up, holds it to a 2-yard gain. Of course, the last time Brady played in the snow, we were there. It was last October '09. And he threw 6 touchdown passes against Tennessee, 5 alone in the 2nd quarter, an NFL record. They won that game 59-0. That's the last time. Of course, that wasn't in windy conditions, which is also factored in here today.
Well, a couple things help Tom Brady. His throwing motion helps him throw in bad weather.
That's Woodhead, and Urlacher sets him back 2 yards. What else?
Well, and just first off about that screen, Jim, when you throw screen passes, to me, to stop it, it's about the defensive line recognize it and then chasing it. And Tommy Harris, number 91, recognizes it early. He's out there. You see how quick Brian Urlacher gets there. Look at all the defenders around it. That's how you get it done. But what was I talking about? Tom Brady just thrown in the tough weather. The fact that he gets his body into the throw so much helps him control it. That the Patriots practice outside all the time. Bill Belichick makes them get ready for cold games, rainy games by practicing those elements.
3rd down and 12, and he's got Branch for another 1st down. That one had some zip on it. 17 yards, Brady to Branch.
Well, it was just perfect timing by everybody. What did Tom Brady say? The route running, Deion Branch, is so smooth it makes it work. A zone defense, in other words, everybody's dropping back. They're looking at Tom Brady. He anticipates where his receiver is going to be, so when he lets it go, the defense doesn't have enough time to react and get there.
1st down from the Chicago 34. Impressive driving put together by New England, and another hookup with Welker, who breaks the tackle and takes it all the way down to the 10. He got away from Chris Harris.
This is the play you see the Denver Broncos run a lot. Now the Patriots doing it. The play action fake, nobody underneath. Look where the linebackers were. Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, right at the line of scrimmage. Let's watch the gap. Here they come up. Look at the space, nice and soft over the top, makes it an easy catch for Wes Welker.
Picks up 24. They bring in Julian Edelman. He's wide to the right. 1st and goal to go. Danny Woodhead, the running back. They hand it to Woodhead. Several steps, gets down to about the 7.
You know, Jim, you talk about the bad weather. I'll never forget, I can't remember what game it was. Maybe it was the Tennessee game. They came out to practice. Belichick walks up. The offense is getting ready to start. He empties a bag of footballs out there, and Tom Brady goes, what is this? And he goes up there, the footballs were frozen. He had them in the freezer. He goes, it's going to be cold this weekend, deal with it.
Yeah, learn how to deal with it.
That's a little extreme, but I think it proved a point. He doesn't want to hear it. Get it done.
And he threw 6 touchdowns that day. And this one's tipped and should have been intercepted. Chris Harris had the play on it after Urlacher tipped it.
Something you just can't practice when you go against the Bears. Watch Brian Urlacher. What did you and I say as we were watching Urlacher and Lance Briggs on the field warming up? They're huge. They're tall. And you think, oh, I'll throw it over the linebacker, but you're not used to throwing over a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", long arms, and pretty smart too.
Of course, Brady has not thrown an interception now in his last 237 attempts. He's moving in on all-time record territory. About 50 throws to go, and he'll have it. 3rd and goal. And to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Gronkowski Gronkowski, the rookie, with his 7th touchdown of the year.
Well, this is just a basketball player. Watch 87 go down with Brian Urlacher. Just hit him. Oh, that is excellent. Made contact. Could have been an offensive pass interference without doubt. Urlacher was planted there. Gronkowski so big, clears out a little space and got the rebound. Between the pass.
Gronkowski and Hernandez, the two sterling rookie tight ends. It's now 11 touchdown catches between the two of them. 7 by Gronkowski. And Graham adds the extra point. Well, forget about the weather conditions. Just march down the field. 12 plays, 85 yards, and another Brady touchdown throw.
Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
We're back here in Chicago. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms. Crowd's being serenaded to a little everybody. It's gone surfing.
Oh, yeah,
by the Beach Boys.
Yeah, it just warmed me up right away.
Yeah, doesn't it make you feel a little better?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Tom Brady and Drew Brees are the only quarterbacks with a touchdown pass in every game this year. And Tom, now 7-to-1 ratio on the year touchdowns to picks. That's 28-4 on the year.
Let me just say this. We said it in one of our things this morning, Jim. But what did Bill Belichick keep stressing to us? No, it just won't be that bad. And that's just a great message to your players. I don't want to hear about slipping. Go out there and warm up, get shoes that work. And they're used to it. It's not like the New England Patriots play in Miami. So they can deal with this weather. They've done it extremely well here to start the game. And, of course, I think the Chicago Bears, too, they can deal with it, too.
So Coach Belichick bundled up as this one comes down to Davis. And the ball's out. And it's picked up by the Bears. Well, almost. That's Bennett who recovers it. Bennett, the second-year receiver out of Vanderbilt. Third-year receiver. Big save for Chicago there. Now Davis on the kick return.
Oh, he ran into his own guy, so he got hit when he wasn't expecting it. Football wasn't secure enough. It's just, you got to be a little overprotective of the football early in this game until you get used to it and accustomed to the elements.
So from the 22, Cutler was 3 and out the first time they had it. This will be his first pass attempt. And he fires it over to Greg Olsen for a gain of about 5, maybe 6. We've got an update. That means James Brown's on duty in New York.
Jim and Phil, AFC West battle, Kansas City and San Diego. It's Phillip Rivers out of the shotgun. Make that the back there. 17-yard strike there to Malcolm Floyd. That capped the 10-play, 67-yard drive. San Diego's up 7-0. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
All right, thank you, JV. And a break for the Chargers today as, of course, they're in that race out west. The Raiders losing, had chances to win. Forte with Guyton on his back may have taken Guyton with him across the first down yardage.
Threw a flag. Could it be on Garza, the right guard?
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
That's on Garza and Cutler and company. Will get backed up this field. The last home game was against Philadelphia. They've resodded the field since then, but a lot of concern about that. Not.
Well, he gets his arm out there, but I always have a hard time. And look, it's the rules. The rules. Put your arm around the guy. They're going to throw it.
All that concern about the field conditions all week.
Yeah.
Compromised, of course,
I think the
by
field,
Mother Nature.
It looks great. Players are not slipping much, though, Jim. They really are not. I know it's early.
Cutler with heat and is swamped. That is Gerard Warren who swallows up the quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. That's what he does. He swallows it up. The receivers do not come open quick enough. The protection's always an issue here in Chicago against Jay Cutler, and you make him hold it an extra beat. He avoids a lot of sacks with his mobility, his quick feet, and the fact that he can run around. But I always say this, sometimes sacks are overrated. When in doubt, take the sack. Don't throw it blindly. Don't lose control of the football where you can fumble it too.
course, Cutler sacked more than any quarterback in the league this year. So many of them coming early in the year. 3rd down and 18. That last one lost 4. Cutler's pass complete. And that's Johnny Knox with the grab in front of McCourty.
And that was, you talking about a strike. Well, they're going to mark it back. The first original spot looked like it was going to be very close. Nice route by Johnny Knox. Oh, he's way past the line that we have it marked. But look at this throwing motion. Slips a little, gathers himself, and rips it in there. That's just the best thing to describe Jay Cutler. He can just rip it in there. He was throwing it so hard in warm-ups. Players are still cold, getting used to it. They were just like, okay, I'll wait for the next one to try to catch one.
They needed 18. He picked up 19. Cutler going back to completing his last 10 last week. His first 2 today. He's got 12 straight completions. Able to get away from Brace and scramble out for about 6. Another update on the way. Back to you, James, in New York.
Jim and Phil, Drew Brees to Marcus Colston worked on the first. Saints score. They do it again. This one a 17-yard strike there, capping the 12-play, 76-yard drive, 14-0 New Orleans over St. Louis early in the second. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
Oh, a fast start for the Saints over the fast-emerging St. Louis Rams, who have fought hard in every game this year, but now found themselves in a big hole early. So ball on the 40. Cutler able to make something out of that last one when it looked like it might be a loss. 2nd and 4. Forte. And that's good for a first down. Run of 5 into the arms of Mayo.
Really good. The run's happening while there's a little blinding snowstorm at the same time. Who's got the ball? Good job by Mayo and Sanders.
This is what we're talking about. There are times where it's almost like whiteout conditions. The wind starts whipping up, and it kind of is just circulating around the interior here at Soldier Field.
There were times during warm-ups that both teams actually just stopped and stood there like they were sheep out on a farm during a storm. Just stand still.
First down, back to Forte. Muscles his way for about 3.
Well, you know, Jim, last night we talked to Bill Belichick, and of course we talked about the Bears a lot and about Jay Cutler, and he had high praise for him. The fact that he just thinks that he can move around, which we've seen. He is fearless in his decision-making, and that worries a coach. And, of course, high praise for the fact that he needs very small windows to complete passes down the field. And somebody said to me this week, hey, Jay Cutler, he's a game manager. Well, then you're not watching games and you don't know much about football. This guy's a difference maker, and he's been the difference for the Chicago Bears so far this year.
2nd and 6, and right up the middle into the line for 2 is Matt Forte. It'll set up 3rd and about 4. If you got a sports fan on your gift list, CBSSports.com shop has officially licensed NFL gear and get 3-day shipping on every order. Just go to shop.cbssports.com. So likely a passing down coming up for Cutler, who threw 26 picks last year. That number's down to 10 this season.
Well, it's down, and it's really just a wonderful job here in Chicago. Mike Martz, Jay Cutler, they just understand the whole scenario, the makeup of the football team, and they've adjusted and are playing accordingly.
10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Cutler, and there is an incompletion intended for Earl Bennett, knocked away by Devin McCourty.
Well, let's just say this. As somebody from New England told us, man, thank gosh we got Devin McCourty, because he has been borderline spectacular. Big interceptions, tough on the run, and how about that? Just glued to the receiver. For a rookie, a corner, awesome job.
Yep, his 6 interceptions ties the New England rookie record of Michael Haynes back in 1976. Maynard steps to the side to field the snap. And Welker runs away from this one. Ball deadens at the 11. Covered up by Graham for the 2nd time in this game. That's the end of quarter number 1. New England 7, Chicago nothing. And you're watching the NFL on CBS.
Yes. Happy holidays.
Well, you this is actually anniversary day on this very date. Back in the 70s of the famed snowplow game up in New England.
You know, you watch that and you just go, didn't everybody know when that was happening? Like, wow, that's not legal. That was incredible.
John Smith wins it 3-0. As Brady again works the middle of the field. And that's Wes Welker's having a big start to the day. Good for 12. That flashback. And actually 1982. Mark Henderson comes out to clear the field for the game-winning kick.
Oh my gosh, if I'd have been the opposing coach, what are you kidding?
Don Shula?
I would have ran out there and knocked him off that plow.
Ask Coach Shula the next time you see him.
Yeah,
if he's gotten over that one yet.
Yeah.
I know he hasn't.
Of course not.
First down, and Green Ellis. They're finding some big holes to operate with. Opening it up with the likes of Algie Crumpler. Good for 11.
Algie Crumpler coming. He is out of this backfield. He can be a devastating blocker. And again, Matt Light, the left tackle. You keep talking about Logan Mankins. It gets overlooked. A veteran offensive line. And we talked to Julius Peppers, and the first thing he said, veteran, tough, good. They know it. New England is showing.
This time the stick on Green Ellis, who was able to fall forward for no gain. Donajay on the tackle. We got an update. Jets, Dolphins. JB, the story, please.
Jim and Phil, turnovers on the Jets off of a Mark Sanchez fumble. Chad Henne, 6 yards to Brandon Marshall. 10 points off of 2 Jets turnovers. That accounts for the scoring. Miami on top. 10-0 late in the first. Back to Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
All right, so the Jets still in a funk after what happened on Monday night, 45-3. At the start of that one, down 10. Branch has his second catch. Tillman tries to strip it. Branch holds on out of bounds after a gain of 9. And I'm thinking here, Phil, we were with the Patriots on Thanksgiving Day. That game in the third quarter, Detroit was competitive with them.
Right.
Since that time in the third, it's 80-3 for New England against their opponents. The rest of the way against the Lions, and then the Jets, and now this one. And a timeout called by Brady. Up 7-0. Early stages of the second quarter at Soldier Field. Back out of the break, and a 3rd and 1 for New England. They go middle, handoff. And that's Sammy Morris. They've used that 3rd and 1 with Morris very effectively all season long. What about the timeout, Phil?
Well, here's what happened. They were going to come up and run the quarterback sneak real quick. Chicago says, no, we're ready for that. So it's, hey, second quarter, you can use a timeout now, not worry about it. So Tom Brady says, I don't like this quarterback sneak. Let's get a better play. Give it to a running back instead of the quarterback.
Fake to Woodhead. Brady's pass deflected. Getting a hand on it was Julius Peppers.
Well, Julius Peppers didn't like the left side of the offense coming from Tom Brady's left, so he switches sides, gets to the right. They usually put him in positions where he can get one-on-one blocking. Wow, how about that, Jim? I mean, what are you going to do? You block him, he times it, jumps, knocks it down.
Peppers we spoke to this week, very excited about being in Chicago.
Oh, defensive lineman's dream, football, the culture here.
Yep.
It's about defense.
Welker. Blockers in front, clear the path for Welker. Matt Light, one of those who made it a wide open running lane for Welker for 19.
I don't know if it was a double call, but there's not enough guys out here. Oh, that's what happens. It's a blitz. More on the blitz. There are not enough guys to defend. The Patriots, timing is everything when you make the calls on the offensive side. How about that, Dan Copen? You don't have to block them as a lineman. Just go to the ground. They'll jump.
Welker with 6 catches. Green Ellis, he too has wide open space. About the 3rd time we've seen that with Green Ellis. Gets the big running start with it. 9-yard pickup. Major Right brings him down.
There is no hesitation. Again, Connolly, look at Sebastian Vollmer. Not only does he block the guy, he just says, not blocking you's not good enough. I'm going to take you completely out of the frame and try to embarrass you a little bit. Running game. Of course, there's so many things they do on offense, the Patriots. The running game is really picking up, and it's got a very physical part to it.
2nd and 1. They get the first with Woodhead. Gain of about 5 in all. Survivor Week is kicking off on Wednesday when a family challenge brings out the best and worst in the survivors. It's all new Survivor Wednesday. The season finale is next Sunday. Only CBS. Survivor Week on CBS. So they're moving it again as Cutler watches from the sideline. After an 85-yard drive, this one so far 67 and moving. Green Ellis goes outside, got a block out there, and another big gainer for Green Ellis.
Wow, Sammy Morris leading the way. Last week against the Jets, they just delivered the blows. That's what it is. Vollmer, take his guy to the ground. Sammy Morris kicks him out. And again, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Sometimes we're right when we talk about guys. We say to them, are we right or is he getting faster? Or wrong? But hey, repetitions, being coached right, and having talent, you get better. Well, that's been Jarvis Green Ellis.
Got 50 yards rushing already. He's out on 1st and goal from the 3. Woodhead bouncing around and squirts out of the jam, and he's in for the touchdown. Touchdown, New England. Danny Woodhead.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears are going to have to go to the sideline now. The defense have to huddle up and go, what we're doing is not working. Nice block by the center, Copeland. Oh my gosh, everybody's just getting great angles. Cross blocks, Woodhead. Small gets lost. And tough. And strong.
Of course, Woodhead, a former Harlan Hill Award winner, Division II Heisman equivalent. Named after Harlan Hill, who was drafted by the Bears back in '54 out of the University of North Alabama. Hill still ranks 2nd in touchdown receptions in Bears history with 40. So Woodhead has touchdown number 5 on the year since being signed week 2 after the Jets cut him. That was some pickup, Danny Woodhead. What a
incredible. It really is. Listen, you got to be a free thinker in the NFL. And of course, Bill Belichick is. Look at all the guys on the team that have such specific roles. And if you're good, those roles keep extending.
And Shane Graham makes it 14-0. Patriots offense again after a pair of 45-point outbursts. Already 14 on the board at Chicago. This 85-yard drive backed up by an 87-yard touchdown drive.
Listen, this is the best offense in the NFL. Is there a debate? Can you even lie and come up with somebody else right now? And you see the Chicago Bears, Rod Marinelli, and it starts with the front 4. They have to pressure the passer. They're not doing it. And Tom Brady, the passing game, the formations, the plays, I say it every time I do a Patriots game, there's so much that you just got to keep changing up. You got to make them guess a little.
How about through the first 12 games of the season? Coming into this one, the Bears had allowed 3 touchdown drives over 80 yards. Already given up 2 here in the first quarter and a half. Not even a quarter and a half. As Manning returns this one. A fantastic burst by Manning. 40-yard run back. Kyle Arrington ends it. But it's 14-0 visitors. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms back in snowy, blustery Chicago, and the Bears trailing 14-0. Chester Taylor in the backfield, but it's a pass attempt. Cutler to Knox. The ball is out. The ball is out and is picked up by the Patriots. It's Gary Guyton running it back, and they rule it on the field a fumble. It's a touchdown, New England. McCourty is the one who knocked it away from Knox.
Well, the rule is let him play on the field. Don't blow the whistle too quick. Does he catch it? 1-2. Oh, it's possession for sure. Now, when does the football come out? It's going to be close. Actually, it looks like he's sitting on top of the shoe.
Challenge flag is out.
See that, Jim? You see how he fell onto the leg of Devin McCourty?
Exactly.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by New England. It's being challenged by Chicago.
This could be the game.
Boy, that would be an early knockout if it was. Chicago's going to hope that they'll overturn it and rule him down. Back in Chicago, Mike Carey, the referee, is examining this. A challenge by the Bears, ruling on the field, fumble, and a return for a touchdown by the Patriots. Phil, you said it. You saw it live. You thought that perhaps Knox was
sitting
on the foot of McCourty. Did not touch the ground.
That's what it looked like.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was on the leg, the foot of the defender when the ball came loose. Therefore, it was a fumble recovered by New England for a score. Chicago is charged with their first team timeout.
Chicago gives up a touchdown, loses a timeout. Here it is.
Well, it's amazing that it happened this way. The fact that he lands on Devin McCourty's foot, it gives him that extra split second to knock it out. What a play again by McCourty. All over the receiver, really only like a yard or two gain, but then to tear it out. Chicago putting the football on the ground, New England's not.
2 touchdowns in 20 seconds. High snap, Mesko got it down. Graham drives it through. As if the Patriots offense needs help scoring. They've got one from the defense now. 21-zip.
Find out tonight.
7 returns for touchdowns, Phil. You might not have guessed Arizona with 8.
It's incredible. Yes. It would have taken me 30 guesses to get the next team, but
yeah, 30 misses, and then the 31st would have been Arizona.
The numbers, the touchdowns by the Patriots this year. How many touchdowns that make now?
Well, coming into the week, they had 48 touchdowns.
It's incredible.
The second highest in the league was 38.
You know, they're just so they're just good, and they're getting better. That's the thing. Both sides of the ball, they are getting better as this year goes along.
Kick travels to the 5. Manning had a good return the last time. This time, well, he actually got away from Ninkovich, and he's taken off. Finally brought down by Slater. Daniel Manning with another 40-yard return.
Couple good returns by the Chicago Bears. Now the Patriots, they are one of the best special teams units in the NFL. They do it all well. They think they got it covered, but Slater, hey, staying alert, never giving up on plays, gets off his block and probably saves a touchdown. Merriweather, good job by him too, because it looked like everybody thought he was down and tackled.
More touchdowns than the Bears have produced first downs. And Chester Taylor's first handle, and he is sliced by Ninkovich for a loss of a yard. Now the Patriots scored by air, by land, and by return, by defense. Gronkowski, Woodhead, and Guyton, actually his second touchdown of the year, Phil, had an interception return.
That's right.
Week 1 against Cincinnati.
We saw it. Well, if you're the Chicago Bears, listen, you just talk to yourself. The fight is not over. Don't think about the score. Grind it out. Get a first down here and see what happens.
Second down, we'll call it 11. There's a flag thrown. Looks like it's going to be against the Bears as Cutler scrambles for about 14.
Cutler makes this running look easy. Over 200 yards rushing this year.
Holding, offense number 86. 10-yard penalty is still second down.
Just to make matters worse, Manu Maliuna flagged for the holding call.
Well, you know, sometimes I say this all the time, Jim, holding quarterback moves. There you see against Tully Banta Kane. I think maybe he got his foot stepped on. That's why they both fell. Couldn't quite tell. But the Chicago Bears do that a lot, especially with Manu Maliuna. He stays in and blocks. They block the outside guy. It's a trait of Mike Martz's offense, especially when you play a 3-4, because you're not sure which linebacker is going to be the pass rusher.
Now second down. On the ball's dropped by Taylor. 3rd and 20 on the way. Tomorrow on CBS, it's holiday season in Hawaii, but to solve this case, 5-0 will need more than a miracle. Don't miss a new episode of TV's #1 news show, Hawaii 5-0. Tomorrow, only CBS.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we are here. Hawaii 5 promos.
Just to warm you up a little bit. Hester down to the near side. 3rd and 21, actually. Butler zips it, and Knox can't hold on. Would not have been enough for the first.
No, but a great thought process by the Bears. Move the quarterback, give him the extra second, but the down and distance was just too great. And it is an excellent throw by Jay Cutler. Knox trying to sell it down the field. His defensive backs for the New England Patriots every week, the more you watch them, they're starting to make, they're young, they're making more plays.
Like Kyle Arrington. Got a second-year player in Arrington. He was undrafted a year ago out of Hofstra. Of course, you got the rookie first-rounder McCourty on the other side. Edelman shakes off Davis and takes off. Edelman with a big return. Oh, and he had it. He was gone. And he'd gone back toward the New England side of the field on the New England bench. It would have been a touchdown. Still, it's a 42-yard return by Edelman after a 38-yard punt.
Well, you know, everybody wants to be part of it now. Everybody's hot for New England. As you watch Edelman, quick feet. Right here. If he stays outside, it's gone. He's going to score. Easy to see from up here. But still, the big thing, the right cuts, the speed going forward, and protecting the football.
Longest punt return of Edelman's career, the 42-yarder. And they're set up again now on the Chicago side of the field at the 30. Green Ellis takes a few Bears with him for 5.
3 tight ends to the right. What do you think that means? So we're going to run it over here.
Yep.
It's just, it's everything now. It's a little bit of attitude. How about this? 3 of them going to run to the right. And what happens is, oh, nice job. The front side, back side, cutting off their blocks. Just winning the point of attack. New England's offensive line.
And Green Ellis again. Look at him fighting for an extra couple yards at least. He's going to be 1 yard short, gain of 4. You're right, though, about the man they call Benny around that locker room. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. You know, we watched him come out of Ole Miss. Again, he was undrafted.
Right.
And, you know, as the season developed, smoother, looking more natural, looking faster.
Well, it just makes sense, doesn't it, Jim? You know, like any athlete, you let them get out there, get some confidence, and get more practice, get experience in games, they're going to get better.
He's getting the handle again, 3rd and 1, and again trying to fight for it. Chris Harris pushes him back. So be close on the spot, though. The progress is going to be right on the line. They may have to measure.
Well, they're going to go for it if they are a little bit short. I have no doubt about that. But, you know, the other thing is, too, you look at this game. If you're the Chicago Bears, Tim, we've done a lot of games. Guys, you better dig in there. Because the one thing we know, the Patriots will not stop. They're not worried about the score. They're aggressive from start to finish, and they keep going. We saw that Monday night against the New York Jets. They're up 35-3, whatever the score was. Pedal to the metal, keep playing hard.
Yep, we're not going to back off. Back again, the last time they played in the snow a year ago in October, 59-0 over Tennessee, as we mentioned. So after the first down, ball tipped and incomplete. That was Nick Roach who deflected it this time. His ball was trying to go back to Welker.
Well, what happens is a zone defense. Tom Brady looks right. He doesn't see the linebacker. They read the eyes of the quarterback, and that is 2 times now they have tipped it up in the air. This is what this Bears defense is about. Sacking the quarterback, you know, getting the penalty, tipping the football the way they play defense, get the interception. 2 times in the air, both times, well, they don't make the play.
And again, his streak, though, without an interception is now up to 243 attempts. That's 4th best all time as Woodhead scratches out about 2. The all-time record belongs to Bernie Kosar, 286 attempts without an interception. Brady 43 throws away without a pick to record numbers.
Pretty incredible. Of course, you got to be a little lucky. But we've seen a lot of these plays, the throws in this streak. He hasn't gotten a lot of breaks. Just good decision, good design of the offense, making it clear for the quarterback what his job is. I think that's the biggest thing. They're very clear on how he is supposed to execute the passing game.
Faces a 3rd and 7. They give him Woodhead underneath, and they converge on him. Does both Julius Peppers and Brian Urlacher. Be about 4th and 3.
Yeah, they're going to kick the field goal here.
Shane Graham is headed in. Graham, who took over for Stephen Gostowski, who had to go on injured reserve with a thigh injury back on November the 10th.
Look at it, look at this, Jim. Everybody is out there
helping the cause.
Bunch of cows, man, trying to clear it up.
Yeah, it's a whole new specialty group, from the long snapper to the holder to the place kicker from the year. That 30-yard attempt, and it hooks through. Look at that action.
That's tough.
Did it get there? Yes, just barely. I tell you, it hit one of those walls of wind. Made it across from 30. He's now made his last 18 regular season field goals, and it's 24-0 Patriots. Now Santa Claus paying a little visit. Let's see if the quarterback from Santa Claus, Indiana, can get something going for the Chicago Bears. Talking about Jay Cutler.
Well, I think Jay Cutler, I know that they've done nothing on the offensive side, but when given the opportunity, he's making the play.
You saw Edelman, who set up the field goal by Graham with that long punt return.
You know, it's interesting, Jim, as you watch this game, you all watch the kickers. They got to kick those brand new kicking balls. They can be rough in these elements. The quarterbacks, we talked to both of them about getting footballs ready for this tough climate. Tom Brady, he likes to rub them up, get them used so he can grip them really well. Jay Cutler, he doesn't care.
Still got the shine on him.
I don't care.
Devin Hester. It's Hester this time, and he is tripped up again. Getting down there in a hurry is Dane Fletcher to make the play, along with Tracy White. Just a 14-yard return.
Well, let's talk about it. First off, here's the Patriots and Tom Brady. Look at the difference in the color to Jay Cutler's. And Tom Brady likes them rubbed up, a little rough before he can feel it. Jay Cutler, they take them right out of the box. They're brand new. They got all that slick stuff on them. And I said something to him because, you know, if I just don't want to care. I don't want to waste the energy worrying about it. And, you know, in fact, he goes, I kind of like them, that new slick stuff on the ball.
Yeah, he thought it gave him a better tact. He said a better grip.
Only guy I've ever heard say that.
And he's going to go down, and the ball is out again as the Patriots get this strip sack and the recovery.
It's just, it's jailbreak. And this happens from time to time with this Bears offense. And if they get in obvious passing situations, they struggle protecting the quarterback, all the angles.
It's Eric Moore who forced it, just recently signed, and Mayo recovers.
How about that? And on the, as you watch it from the right side, right away, they get through, and Garza had a hard time, lost his angle. But let the Patriots it made Jay Cutler move, and once he moves, everybody else comes out the blocks, and you're in trouble.
First and goal. Woodhead. The ball scored out the way they're fighting for it. That's Logan Menken's getting thrown down. Pulled off the pile. Matt Light still in there. It's a gain of a yard for Woodhead.
You know, he probably should institute a rule. You know this, when you're losing by a lot of points, you're not allowed to fight. You know what I'm saying? You just got to play. But sometimes, if that's what it takes, getting emotional, get a little fight going, and hey, you do what you got to do to get back into the game.
Bears defender gets off just in time.
Didn't hustle enough for me getting off the field.
Second and goal, and incomplete. That was in and out of the arms of Welker. Well, the Patriots average a league best 31 points a game, and they're 8 yards away, plus an extra point from hitting that figure with 3.5 minutes to go in the first half.
It's just been an impressive performance in so many ways. 3 times the Bears have put it on the ground. Patriots get it twice.
Third and goal from the 8. Incomplete. That hopped in to Welker.
One of the good things the Bears do on defense, they do it really well, and they got to do it more. Watch the inside pressure. Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, they're excellent of getting through, getting around blockers, and getting in the way of the quarterback. Good job by Lance Briggs that time.
So they come out to help out again. Graham, the whole special teams unit, tries to clear some of the snow. Graham was good just a few moments ago from 30. This is 25.
It's like a breaking putt. You just got to trust that it's going to break.
Whistles first. Patriots called the timeout. This one.
Yeah, when you watch the Bears play, a lot of teams can kind of drive the football, get a couple first downs, but talent, the scheme, the way they're built, they're going to get to you, tip a football, and turn things around. They have not gotten those breaks or created those breaks today against New England.
So Graham from 25. And this one's good again. Cutler coughing it up, leading to 3 more. Run the number up to 27 now for New England. It's been steady since about 3 o'clock in the morning. Expected to be like this till about midnight tonight. And again, the wind relentless as well. At 30, steady at 30. Well, this is since halftime of the Thanksgiving game, but I was making the point that really there's a point in that third quarter of that Thanksgiving game where they just marched on and scored the last 28 points of the game. So it's really over this stretch of time since the third quarter, mid-third quarter now.
Right.
That would be 100-3 is this stretch right now for New England. It was 73-3 coming in, and on another 20, 100-3 since the mid-third quarter on Thanksgiving. Now it's Manning's turn after Hester had one run-back attempt. Sammy Morris playing special teams and on the tackle. 27-yard return. Doubleheader of college basketball action here on the home of the NCAA basketball tournament next week. Some will see South Carolina against number 2 Ohio State or Stanford and Butler. And then everyone will get Texas against North Carolina. The Tar Heels hosting Rick Barnes Longhorns next Saturday here on the road to the Final Four. 27 points on one side, 32 total yards on the other. Tays back in, and he's going to surrender a lot of yards. This is the young man, the fifth-year player out of Florida State, just recently signed by the Patriots, Eric Moore, who forced a fumble on the last play they were out there.
It's really incredible the number of players who have contributed this year on this New England defense. There's a lot of reasons why a lot of guys have played. Performances, Bill Belichick not happy, so he just keeps changing them. And these guys know when they get an opportunity, you better play well, because they are not afraid of changing and putting somebody else in your spot.
They lost 5, second and 15. Forte out of the backfield. Mayo rags him down, gain of about 7, but it's a defense on that New England side. So young. We've seen games where they started 4 rookies and 3 second-year players, and it really all came together last week against the Jets.
Well, it's starting to come together. The play of the defensive backs is getting there. The play up front. Vince Wilfork, haven't said his name much today, but he's been spectacular this year. Besides Vince Wilfork and Devin McCourty and Mayo, everybody else has been benched, substituted for, whatever during this year.
3rd and 9, and this time Forte cannot hold on, and the Bears have to give the football back to New England. At the 2-minute warning, as lopsided as it gets, 27-0. And a big shout out to our crew out here in this very difficult afternoon of weather. Maynard's punt. Now look at Edelman. Saw it slip for a moment, and then he takes off again. This time he cuts to the right, and he has one man to beat. And no one's going to stop him. Another return for a touchdown. They got a fumble return and now a punt return of 71 yards. Looks like there might be a flag on the field. There is a flag down. Boy, he bobbled it for a moment. Yeah, Arrington held the block there.
He did such a good job of getting in
During
front
the kick,
of it.
Holding, receiving team number 52, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, Dane Fletcher's holding penalty will take it away.
You know, I'll tell you again, Julian Edelman, you think, wow, I just expected him to be such a big part of the offense this year. And you go, where did he go? Now he's resurfacing in the special teams. And what's impressive is just the quick decision and just full speed ahead. Not looking to dodge, running through tight spaces, going to try to break tackles. Broke a tackle at the end, got the touchdown. The hold brings it back.
So this is about the only thing that's gone Chicago's way for the whole half.
Number 52. Right. Oh, it's a good grabbing the jersey, pulling him around.
Pulling Brian Ewu around. He got flagged for it, so they're all the way back. The Patriots at their own 19. Greenhouse. Maybe a yard. Coming up, we've got the Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the latest scores and highlights. Coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Now Chicago could stop them here on 2nd down. I think the Patriots will run it. If anything, you want to make sure you take the Chicago Bears timeouts away from them here. So Tom Brady taking his time. They're doing nothing but watching this clock, trying to make sure it works in their favor.
Second down and 9. Branch past Tillman.
How about that? I thought for sure they would run the football, just try to get rid of it, probably go in, but no. I mean, we've already said it once. They don't stop. They keep playing. They expect to execute situations, even when you're backed up in the snow in Chicago.
That picked up 18. They have one timeout. Brady's. Oh, and again they had a chance for the theft.
3 times now.
Urlacher.
And it was a well-designed play by the Patriots. But again, Brian Urlacher is very unique. He can play this defense where he's really like a safety, plays back. You just cannot underestimate. He can jump, how tall he is. And like I said, the long arms. Tom Brady got away with an interception. 3 times now. They had a chance to make the play.
From their own 40 with 26 seconds, they go ground. Woodhead for 2. Again, the Sprint halftime report's coming up. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the scores and highlights, the recaps of the early games. Coach Cowher got on me a little bit today in the pregame, huh?
Yeah, he called you out. I'm sorry.
For wearing a scarf. Man with his organic coffee. Here is Branch. Oh, they got the Bears thinking they weren't going to do anything. And Branch is in for a touchdown. Brady and Branch again for 59. And that is just one last stunner here in the first half with no time left. The Bears, after they had run it with Woodhead the previous play, weren't expecting anything.
Well, they're expecting, if anything, a short pass from the outside. Here's the safety. They're playing across the board, so the fact that the inside receiver goes up the field, Tillman plays it wrong, and the Patriots are known to always take a shot, no matter what the situation. Never fall asleep in that. Tillman did, gives up the easy touchdown.
Boy, Tillman looked like he was just frozen on the field. You're right, they were in shotgun. So, and that kick is no good by Graham, the extra point. Wide right. And the Bluebirds are out.
I'd say Tom Brady has those footballs feeling perfect, really razor sharp when the receivers are open, throwing it down the field.
3 straight games they've hooked up for scores. Brady 19 touchdowns since his last pick. 33-0 show.
And welcome back to our New York studios and a Sprint halftime report. I'm James Brown, along with my guys Dan, Coach Shannon, and Boomer. There was supposed to be a game in Chicago today, Boomer.
Well, the Patriots having a lot of fun. How about this? Let's get off the scoring right here. Rob Gronkowski, 7-0. Brady just handling the weather, no problem. How about this? 59 yards right before half. Down the sideline to Deion Branch. Obviously a broken coverage. The Patriots have scored 78 points in their last 6 quarters, only given up 3. By the way, the Bears are averaging 16 points give up for a game. They've already given up 33 at half.
Woo. All right, the Dolphins, Chad Henne off of a turnover. He finds Brandon Marshall 6 yards touchdown as Miami's up 10-3.
Chiefs and Chargers up next, Coach.
And Philip Rivers, he's already thrown 2. It's 37-7 in the third quarter.
You know, I'll tell you something, guys, in regards to the New England Patriots. Tom Brady's played some great football in his time. 2007 comes to mind. We talked about it in the pregame show. The last 4 games, he has been on fire. Yeah. And then to follow it up with this half on the road in Chicago against this defense.
In that weather.
There isn't a better offense in football as far as I'm concerned.
And I just think the matchup was such, we talked about this in the pregame from the standpoint is you can't generate any rush on a field like that. And Chicago relies on playing that cover 2. Julius Peppers getting the rush. They're not a blitzing team. And to me, the weather just went against the Chicago Bears and their thinking going into this game.
What about the Jets?
And when you look at the New York Jets, they've had their opportunities. They've had pretty good field position. They really struggled on third down, only 2 for 9. The Dolphins capitalized on the 2 turnovers, and really they got to make some plays for the young kid Mark Sanchez. They haven't made some plays as far as the receivers are concerned.
Too many drops. Santonio Holmes drops a touchdown, Dan, and I agree with you. They have great field position, and at some point in time, you got to take advantage of that. Get some easy scores, but you got to help Sanchez out. Receivers, you're dropping too many passes.
I will say this. They better win this football game because if they don't, tomorrow is going to be a long day for Coach Ryan and his
is wavering right now, particularly with the quarterback, and that's the thing that concern me. He needs to have a good second half.
San Diego, KC, what's happening?
San Diego look real good.
Well, you see, Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Only from Sprint. Only on the Now Network. $33-0 Patriots, and with a win today, they are in the playoffs. They make it official. They'd be the first team in. And they have been in control today from the start. The Brady touchdown throw to Gronkowski. The Guyton fumble return for a touchdown. The last play before the half. Right. It all adds up. 33-0 shellacking. Third quarter coming up on CBS. New England 33 and Chicago nothing. As many times as I look at it, it's still kind of hard to believe when you see a score like this between a pair of teams that were coming in here tied for first place in their divisions. I don't even know where to start, but it's been all New England from the get-go.
It's hard to believe that snow's coming in our booth, too. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Patriots, just awesome. Boomer Esiason said it best. They have the best offense in the National Football League, and they pressure you so much. You think, well, the defense is not great. Well, does it matter? They put you in such tough situations. you cannot just overcome.
All right, Phil, let's take a look at the Droid Pro play presented by Motorola. Let's go to that last play of the first half. Tillman beaten badly by Branch, who takes off as time expires for the touchdown to absolutely get this place worked up to where the Boo Birds were calling as the team was heading to the locker room.
Well, the good news is I think the weather has improved slightly.
Yeah, last time you said that,
it got worse.
The snow intensified. Manning steps up to the 10-yard line. He takes a big tumble over on the sideline. I'll try to summarize it this way. Patriots over 30 points again. Brady with a couple of touchdowns. Woodhead runs one in. Guyton returns a fumble. And that's more points than Chicago had allowed in any single game this season.
And Lovie Smith told us on Friday, proud of his team, proud of the way they play, how hard they play, and how they've acted all year long. Well, this is a test.
Ball tipped and over the head of Forte. You saw the graphic. The first time they've trailed by more than 30 at halftime in a home game since 1964 against Minnesota.
You know, too, Jim, on the offensive side, you know, hey, look, come on, let's be honest. You know, you're probably not going to come back. You need every break there is to do it to win this game. But for the offense, you still mix it up. You run the football some. You don't put Jay Cutler in harm's way. Make the defense play as honest as you can.
High snap. He jumps up and grabs this Cutler, hands it off to Forte for about 8.
They're coming into this game, too, the Bears so confident, so hopeful. I think they were looking forward to this tilt against the Patriots because the Patriots get so much publicity. They're so out there in front. After the big build-up on Monday night and the way the Patriots played, they were like, all right, let us get a chance and a shot at these guys. You know, they like their chances. They thought they matched up on both sides of the ball very well against New England. That has not been the case.
Well, they came in riding a 5-game win streak from the 43, 3rd down and 2. Incomplete as, look at the defensive play by Arrington on Knox.
Oh, it's excellent coverage. Crowd can't even muster up a boo thinking it's pass interference. Top of your screen, good technique. There comes underneath, left hand in front. That's just put it on a training reel. Play in the situation too. Play the field. It was a blitz. The football is probably going to be thrown short. Kyle Arrington all over the throw.
Edelman jumping around. He'd like to get that run back. Like the one he had called back. Oh, Maynard drops it. And that ball is, in fact, advanced. Only to about the 37.
Southwest is...
Game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
A moment ago, the snap to Maynard was perfect. Just the cold weather and everything. Numb fingers. Maynard fortunate to get that punt away. New England from the 37. Brady has it on his hip. Going downfield to Branch. And another big gainer for New England.
Yeah, what a way to start the second half. Look at that. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Just tremendous. The offense just keeps rolling. They keep them in rhythm. That's what I like, what Bill O'Brien is doing so well. The play calling, they spread it out. They let Tom Brady throw enough to always keep him in rhythm.
Green Ellis. Final finally taken down by Peppers. I tell you, every time it seems like Green Ellis gets it, he's got a lane and he's got a 10-yard gainer.
Oh, no question. Again, the other side, Algie Crumpler. One guy, Logan Mankins, Matt Light seals the end. It's a machine. And just talking about that play call, they run it, and they're running it well, of course, of late, but they run it enough to keep their offensive linemen aggressive. You know, that is such a key in the NFL. The offensive linemen like to hit people every once in a while.
Brady to Gronkowski, and he shoved out of bounds as the Patriots just continue to pick up.
Now they got it all
chunks
going. Yep. Everybody's open. The first play he could have thrown over the top, maybe to Wes Welker. Going across the field, you'll probably see somebody coming this way. There he comes. You know what? They were both open. So why not throw it to the short one and get the easy completion? In these conditions, Tom Brady, we said it, we showed the footballs, how he's got them in perfect condition and controlling it very well.
Gronkowski takes off the Briggs hit. Urlacher and others hold them to a 5-yard gain. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Jerry Jones. Tonight on 60 Minutes, close inspection of the Dallas Cowboys owner, only on CBS.
Well, that'll be interesting. You know what this drive reminds me of? It reminds me of a preseason game where we go, okay, now guys, we're going to get you out there. We're going to give you all the one last series, make a few plays, do this. It really has that feel to it.
Green Ellis. Well, there's a good tackle to wrap him up.
Toina and Lance Briggs both on the hit. You could, did I hear you go, because you could hear it. Oh, that's Lance Briggs squares up two of them. What a hit. Lance Briggs. Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, all having outstanding years.
The Chicago defense that since that Super Bowl year 4 years ago, it's back to the way it used to be, except for today. Their numbers had been very impressive. Being shattered here, though, at the moment. 3rd and 6 and incomplete. Going for Green Ellis.
There are a couple plays here when the Patriots have been down inside is what the Bears are all about. Now you don't have to retreat as far. You can still watch the quarterback play your zone defense, and the quarterback doesn't have that long because the rush got to him just like then. Tom Brady has to get rid of the football. Not enough time for the guys to get open and get the first down.
Dan Connolly and Algie Crumpler helped clear a little space for the kicker. Shane Graham was 2 for 2, and this one from 29. Made it from 30, made it from 25, and has this one from 29. 36-0 inside 11 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, Soldier Field. Is the second highest scoring New England team in its franchise history, behind that undefeated regular season team of 07. People thought they could never even come close to something like that again, could they? I mean, the way they played that season with Brady throwing 50 touchdowns, and
yep.
They're not going to put the same kind of numbers up in the end, but pretty darn close.
That offense caught everybody by surprise, unique to the NFL at the time. Then everybody copied it. Now everybody's getting away from it, and this time it's a totally different thought process what they're doing.
Down to Devin Hester at the 4. Hester breaks tackles, has the middle of the field, and he's taken off, and he's brought down. A saving tackle made by Ninkovich. For a moment, I thought it was the opening kick return in the Super Bowl down in Miami.
Sure looked like it. Well, the Patriots got something to complain about when they go in to watch these films tomorrow. It's the return game. The Bears, boy, oh boy, how quick is Hester? Just the movement, the ability to make cuts and go forward without losing speed. And good hustle again. Never give up on the play when you're playing this Bear teams and some of these returners.
Very nearly getting his 14th all-time punt or kick return, which would have set the all-time NFL record. He's currently tied with Brian Mitchell with 13 for the best in league history. Cutler throws it off balance in the area of Bennett. Well, Phil, we were just getting settled in. Super Bowl 41 down in Miami. We turned around, saw Vinatieri kick it to the 7, and then Hester took off for the only opening kick return in Super Bowl history.
I think if I remember back, the Colts said, yeah, we're going to kick it to him. We'll see. We can do it. We can cover. I'm not sure. Was that the last time they kicked it to him?
Yeah, I think it was. Forte.
You know, Jim, I always like that when I talk to fans, even people in the business, they go, yeah, we're going to attack their strength. And I go, why?
What are you asking for?
Why do you want to do that for?
Yeah.
Is that what we're supposed to do? No, I'm going to go at their weaknesses. Leave that strength over there. Well, we'll just, throw it to the guys who can't cover you. Like if Deion Sanders is the defensive back, yeah, we're not scared of him. I'm going to throw them all at him. Oh, that's good.
Go learn your lesson. 3rd and 7. There's Forte. Page misses him. Forte down the sideline, and he tried to stretch it out. He's out of bounds. Ball came out, but he's out of bounds at about the 2.
That was a good job by everybody involved. Pass protection. Forte coming out, comes across the field, and he's so valuable in the passing game this year for the Chicago Bears. I tell you, as I watch everybody in this field today, it's amazing that the players are not slipping. Saw a game here a few weeks ago when the Philadelphia Eagles were here. It was a disaster. Everybody was falling, big divots coming up. None today here in this cold and snow.
That's their first down for the Bears since late first quarter. Can you believe it? 1st and goal to go. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Play action fake to him. And just throwing it away over the head of Manu Maliuna. This is the first time Chicago's been inside the New England 40 for the game.
Well, you asked me, can I believe it? Yeah, it seems like the Patriots have had the football the whole game.
It really does.
So much games are so funny in the NFL. You get the football, you control it, you drive it down the field, you take momentum away. Scores, they can be misleading, and that's why you see them turn around from one context to the next.
It's Chester Taylor, jump cuts, and he is a little bit shy of the goal line. Picked up maybe a yard.
Yeah, it looks like he's about on the 1-yard line. Can't tell from here. Is that about right?
It's really hard to tell. I'd say it's about right.
Yes, well, then you make your mind up here if you're the Chicago Bears. Okay, Mike Martz already been given the word. We're going forward on 4th. So you determine. Usually if you're going to go forward on 4th, this is the down to run it. You throw it on 4th if you want to.
So 3rd and goal. Bears trying to get on the board at last. They go Chester Taylor, and he's in. Touchdown, Chicago. So Forte really set it up on the little pass where he broke a tackle, took it down to about the 2. And then Taylor finishes it off, and the Bears have something to celebrate. Mini celebration. Ron Brace of the Patriots a little banged up. Robbie Gould will be.
Well, Gerard Warren's already banged up.
Yeah, he got injured. Remember, he had that sack early in the game.
But he's back in. Yep. And then, of course, Mike Wright's still out for him.
Pryor's out today, inactive.
Right.
Okay, Robbie Gould for the extra point. He was originally signed by New England as an undrafted free agent back in 2005. Went to camp and competed against Vinatieri. Didn't get the job at New England, but has had quite a career in Chicago. He's 5th all-time field goal kicker by percentage. Just a few percentage points actually behind Shane Graham on the other side. Manley snaps it back. Maynard on the hold. And Chicago has 7. With 8:43 to go, 3rd quarter.
Series Wednesday, only CBS.
Well, you got to go back to the time you were folks sitting at home, probably over your Thanksgiving meal. Back to Thanksgiving Day in Detroit, the last time the Patriots allowed a touchdown. Good kick over the head of Brandon Tate. Robbie Gould forces the touchback. 36-7. Back here at Soldier Field, we remind you can vote. You vote, they play. Send your favorite players to the Pro Bowl. Vote online or on your mobile phone. Voting ends Monday, December 20th. There's Brady and Branch for about 7. The kicking game, a little help from your friends.
Teamwork. Thinking in a blizzard there, but
yeah, look at that.
Look at everybody coming out, clearing a spot. And of course, as the score got higher, he got less help.
If you make it, you make it.
Yeah, it's not that important anymore.
Deion Branch has 130 yards, which ties his regular season career high receiving yardage. Oh, that would have given him a new mark. That one a little behind him.
Yep, a little behind him, but that's where you had to throw it. The linebacker was in the throwing lane.
You know, they've gone against some top defenses this season, talking about New England. Look at the points down here at the bottom. They put up 39 at Pittsburgh, 23 in an overtime win against Baltimore, averaged almost 30 against the Jets.
36 today. I said to Bill Belichick last night, years ago when they had that great offense, everybody copied it. This will be the offense in the NFL that will be copied this offseason. People will try to run this style.
There's Branch setting a new mark for receiving yardage and a first down.
And you know, as I tell you, this style, I mean, you notice the difference, don't you, Jim? To me, it's more complicated. The variables are great because of all the formations they come out with and how they don't really rely. It's not about, oh, we got one great receiver, you got to stop him. I don't know who you pick out. There are 6 guys that he can throw the football to, and they rotate everybody in there. Difficult to defend.
First down. Green Ellis. And this one will be knocked back for about a yard loss. But people would say after, of course, they made the Randy Moss trade, which ends up being a gift of a 3rd-round pick. How are the Patriots? They've lost that outside threat. This is going to change everything. It's going to be more difficult for them to produce points, and it's actually just gone the other way.
It's gone the other way, and to me, I said it this week talking to people about the Patriots, I think they're throwing the football down the field better than I've seen them in years because of this. Play action fakes.
And a flag. Green Ellis has Urlacher bearing down on him. Probably going to be a hold call. They were holding Julius Peppers, it looked like.
Yes.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
But Jim, you're right. It's because of what they're doing on offense helps them. People looked at it the wrong way. The extra protection, the play action fakes, not relying on Randy Moss, Wes Welker entirely. Now the receivers are back to their route running. We see it. We've seen it the last few games. Deion Branch doing a double move. Whoever it is, the tight ends making little moves, getting down the middle of the field. That's what's really opened up this offense, I think, and just made it, like I told you, one of the best in the NFL when it comes to design.
After the first offensive penalty, it's Welker. He gets within 2 yards of another first. Deion Branch didn't catch it, but he did throw the block this time.
It's about Tom Brady make a play, and then don't worry about it. We'll take care of this, and we'll design it. Look at the lineman out in front.
Downfield, Matt Light's down there.
I mean, these guys block outside, of course.
By Branch.
Excellent job.
Mankin's down there. There's Matt Light.
Boy, Matt Light, he's
picks up 18.
He's flying around today. Athletic offensive lineman.
On 3rd down, there's Branch. And again, Tillman Tillman's having some issues with his footing out there. It just seems like every time he needs to make a break or kind of push off, he's just, we saw the Bears, by the way, the ones who were changing cleats late in the first half.
Timing, that time the play was designed to go up top. Everybody on the route was to Tom Brady's right, but he had the opportunity to say, nope, I'm just going to pick one guy. That's Deion Branch, and again, the quick feet, keeping his feet underneath his shoulders. He doesn't slip, the defender does.
Another first down for New England, which has scored on its last 6 drives.
Encroachment, defense number 95, 5-yard penalty, first down, 5 yards to go.
The 1st and 5 on the way. By the way, how about this matchup down at the Hyundai Sun Bowl on CBS? Notre Dame and Miami bring back all the memories of that heated rivalry from the late 80s and early 90s in El Paso. Miami and Notre Dame on CBS New Year's Eve day. 1st and 5, fake Green Ellis. Pass to Gronkowski. He had Corey Wooten standing up trying to bring him down. 13 yards to the rookie tight end.
Corey Wooten, New Jersey boy. Good job. Brian Urlacher. Haven't heard from him much today. Coming on the blitz. Nice job. Green Ellis. If you're going to go low and try to get guys like Brian Urlacher, you've got to wait to the last second. Otherwise, if they anticipate it all, they just go right over the top of you.
First down, New England. Green Ellis hoping something develops, and it does. Could have been a loss, ends up being a positive play. Give him 2. Brady has just moved past actually Jason Campbell in this game into 3rd position all time in a single season, most consecutive throws without a pick.
So he could possibly break this next week.
Yep. Next week when they'll be hosting Green Bay.
Rich Gannon in front of him, CBS guy, who there for a while with the Raiders. Oh my gosh, were they good at throwing the football.
There's a defensive play made by Peppers. Which the Patriots have right now the 1 seed in their favor. Plus, they've got not only the game on Pittsburgh, they're going to go to 11-2 here today, but they also have, of course, the head-to-head over the Steelers. So they're essentially 2 games up on Pittsburgh with 3 weeks to go. Kansas City going to the 4th now, down 21-0. Looks like they'll drop to 8-5 unless they make the big road comeback.
How about Jacksonville up there? I tell you.
Yeah. Welker, that pass, it's incomplete, but you could see how the wind influenced that one.
I mean, that was a Wilbur Wood special there, big boy.
That's right, a little knuckleball.
It went out there and it dipped, not just it dipped feet. Look at that. Oh, he jumped. It was a knuckleball. And that's when I even said that a couple times today. You could go out there and get unlucky, go to kick a field goal and get one of these wind gusts and have no chance. That described that throw that time with the wind.
4th down, they're not going to go for the 46-yard field goal on these swirling winds. They'll go for it on 4th and 11. Chicago 28-yard line. All kinds of time. Gets it away to Hernandez. It won't be enough for the first. So the Bears will take over on downs. So 2:40 to go, 3rd quarter. New England 36-7.
TV's favorite new couple.
You guys gonna suck face all day, or you coming inside?
A new Mike and Molly after a new 2.5 Men Monday.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms back here at Soldier Field. It continues to snow. The wind that comes and goes, it swirls at times and gets very gusty out on the field, as we saw that pass that influenced the drop by Welker. But the Patriots have turned it over on down, so it's back to Chicago, which scored the last time it had it. There's Hester racing out of bounds, gain of about 11. Saturday, CBS Sports presents Championships of the NCAA with a fall highlight show presented by LG, 1 Eastern on CBS.
You know, I was really kind of looking forward to today, thinking, man, if this game is tight, to see Jay Cutler, Tom Brady, just see who could win the battle of throwing the, just making plays, throwing the football. Of course, that didn't come about, but
come over to Forte, let him fit too much, and he had James Sanders closing in on him anyway.
I thought it was interesting, though, as we were talking to Lovie Smith this week. He says, man, we were out of practice on Thursday. The wind is just blowing. It's cold as can be. And he goes, I look up. He goes, he's trying to stay warm. And he goes, there's Jay Cutler just throwing it down the field. We're throwing and catching it. It was incredible. And he says, what did he say to Jay Cutler? Jay, does the cold and wind ever bother you? You know, no, coach. I don't know whether. But Lovie Smith, the point of the story is, he goes, this guy is made to be a Chicago quarterback. He really is, I believe, weatherproof.
There he fires it to Bennett. Very close to the first. The Bears very fortunate that Green Bay lost earlier today, so they'll be able to maintain their lead in their division. On the way to dropping to 9-4. Philadelphia and Dallas later tonight. St. Louis is getting pummeled by the Saints. They can actually advance a team, of course, out of that NFC West. It's going to be ugly. I mean, you could win that division 8-8 right now. You're going to win it.
I mean, how about the New Orleans Saints, too? You look at them. They could end up with an unbelievable record and have to go on the road right away if they don't find a way to catch Atlanta.
Atlanta looking like a 1 seed to me right now as Cutler finds his target. Aroma Shadu with the catch for 16.
It's a good throw and catch, but I think, too, what's important for the Patriots, Arrington, he is right there. And Jay Cutler, just what really is unique about him, doesn't use his body, just stands there, and I just call, he's got like an independent arm. That arm is independent of that body, and he can just make it do what he wants it to do. And that was a good shot. You saw the slow motion, the rotation of the football. There's a lot of it. That's one of the big reasons why he can throw in this bad weather.
Yeah, big spinner of the football, isn't he, Phil?
He really is.
And that was thrown in the area of Knox, who wanted a hold call, and now it comes out.
Gloves, the official was a little slow just because it's not a late flag. He just couldn't get it out of there because of the gloves.
He couldn't dig it out. It's going to be on Darius Butler. You know, back to that motion by Cutler. I mean, we saw him a lot in Denver when he was even backing up Jake
Pass
Plummer.
interference. Defense number 28. In the spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
You always believed he was a very special talent, Jay Cutler. And but have you ever seen a throwing motion, anything comparable to that move?
No. You know, so you bring it up to me. I haven't really thought about it, but no, it is very unique. And it is, you know, he's always off balance. He never plants his feet. But listen, he was put on earth, and he has a great talent. That's to throw. And he shows it off.
First down off the penalty. Goes to the end zone, and it's knocked down. It was intended for Hester. That's Darius Butler just flagged for the interference, who makes the defensive gem of a play this time.
And as you know, again, but here's a good example. When he plants his feet and uses his body, it is, you can tell. And, you know, I always like asking you these questions because you got a pretty good eye for it. You go, it's different. You can tell it.
No question. But it's amazing is how much zip and spin he gets on it without getting his body into it. Because you look at the classical motion of Tom Brady.
Yeah. Body oriented, really gets on what I call on top of it, controls it that way.
There's an interception by Guyton. Guyton with his second takeaway of the game. And the fumble return for the touchdown in the first half. Now with the pick.
Pressure, that's what did it.
seconds to go, third quarter. The last time New England visited Soldier Field was 10 years and 2 days ago. December 10th, 2000. Bledsoe and Shane Matthews were the quarterbacks.
What happens on the interception? Just not able to even do anything. Couldn't get in, stride into it. A little off balance, and people around his feet makes it come up short.
And again, Guyton, as we mentioned earlier,
good day today.
Start the day today as Brandon Spikes will serve a 4-game suspension for violating league rules.
Well, that's the other thing. We talked about it a little too today, Jim. You know, it's coaches. Remember beginning of the year, every time we, of course, never knew who was going to start for the New England defense. And it kept changing, but they created tremendous depth. So something like Spikes, when it happens, hey, things keep on rolling.
The Patriots had come into this game 4 clean games in a row, Phil. Pretty remarkable, without a single giveaway. And now, of course, without one so far today, even in the conditions you think it would be conducive to making mistakes. They've gone 19 quarters without committing a turnover. Fernandez meets for the first time Urlacher, and there is the turnover. Harris has the recovery and down to the 6.
That's an incomplete pass. And if it was complete, I think New England would challenge it.
There's no way that's going to be ruled a completion, but the crowd here thought all the way down to the 6, the Harris run back, it was going to be a legit play for that defense. Boy, Urlacher.
Tom Brady going, don't you remember when I ran by you in that game and you couldn't tackle me?
Urlacher drafted number 9 overall back in the 2000 draft. The same one, of course, so documented so often, where Brady was 199. Urlacher again, number 9.
That was another good example how this defense, when it goes well, they watch the quarterback and they fool you. You think somebody's open. As you let the ball go, they react to you and they make hits like we just saw Brian Urlacher make.
So an incompletion, and 2nd and 10, and that's another one incomplete for Welker. Well, I mentioned that 2000 game when the Bears teed up Shane Matthews at quarterback. Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback of the Patriots. Brady was here. He did not get into the game. Of course, backup duty back then, his rookie season. But he got a whole tutorial about the history of Soldier Field. You know, coming into this one from Bill Belichick, who loves all that history. He's really good at it, too. All the detail, nuggets, and minutia. He's got it.
You got one, too. He was quizzing you last night.
We went back and forth on that a little bit. He wins. There's Hernandez again, and he holds on for a first to close out the 3rd quarter. So Patriots will still have possession going to the 4th. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Tom Brady today and the weather. Well, like you said, Phil, this isn't a team from Miami. They're not afraid of coming out here to Chicago and playing in the nasty stuff.
You know, I think they have a bubble up in New England. I think they use it every once in a while in the offseason program. But I don't think this team, I think in all the games we've covered, I think we did go in to watch them practice once or twice.
Yeah, maybe that. But we've seen weather like this up there before, too.
Absolutely.
But that, getting back to this whole lesson on Soldier Field history, and
yes,
Brady had the whole notebook out with all the he had taken
he took all the notes about it. Yeah, it's really cool. I just love that about Bill Belichick, that he, of course, it just loves history, talks about it all the time. It's pretty unique that the players, as they start to listen and learn things, go, wow, that's pretty cool.
You know, Brady on the team charter into Chicago yesterday said he actually was on the internet on the flight, and he was checking out the Soldier Field,
checking out the clocks, where
the clocks are located. He found a website where he could see in great detail what it looked like inside the stadium. And of course, that was supported by, Belichick talking about how it opened at 26.
Where the locker rooms used to be,
yeah.
The field is.
All the different configurations of Soldier Field through the years. Welker, he tumbles around until he's officially down by Harris. Gain of 13. Look at this. How about tying Don Meredith on this week, just 6 days after we lost the great man? It's going to be...
Well, I'll just say this about Don Meredith. I really actually never met him, even though we did a lot of our Monday night games when I was a player. But I used to watch a lot of tape, saw him, and pretty dang good thrower of the football.
Pretty entertaining broadcaster, too. One of the great ones. Green Ellis. That's back a little bit.
So real quick, let me give everybody at home a real quick quiz. The Chicago Bears. Why are they called the Chicago Bears?
Well, of course, you know, this is part of what we were getting yesterday from Belichick about how back in those days, in the early years, you used to somehow tie your nickname to the baseball team nickname. So
Chicago Cubs.
George Halas said if they're the Cubs, well, we're football players. We're Bears then.
There you go. And the colors of the uniforms, where'd they come from? You know, which I'd heard it, but of course I couldn't remember.
Of course, George Halas was a alumnus of the University of Illinois, and their colors were black and orange.
There you go.
George Halas, who was head coach here for over 40 years. And you remember the story we uncovered a few years ago, just on a whim? We asked Belichick if he had ever met George Halas, because he was on his way to matching or surpassing one of Halas's records for consecutive wins at the time.
Right.
And he actually said, yeah, I actually did. I met him in a locker room at Baltimore one time. My dad took me to see the Colts play the Bears, and I was introduced to him after the game, and he said I was somewhere between 7 and 11 years old. And I walked up to Coach Halas, and I congratulated him on the victory. The Bears had beaten the Colts, and he reached in his pocket and handed me a $1 bill and said, young man, I give $1 to the first person that congratulates me after every game. Who could have ever imagined that you would have that fateful meeting of one of the legendary fathers of the league, and a man one day who, of course, would have this incredible Hall of Fame career of his own.
I think. Well, there you see those numbers, the number of wins by Bill Belichick, but the 3 Super Bowls, pretty incredible. And I'm not sure. I think Coach Belichick still have one more game to catch Mike Holmgren.
It's going to be this one.
He might still have that $1. No, I'm serious. Did he keep it?
No, he did not keep it.
Oh, he didn't.
I thought you were making a comment about...
No, he's not cheating.
No. Just want to be sure. He's going to actually move into the top 10, tying Holmgren today.
Longevity.
Now, if you're talking about Mike Arnold, our director, yes, he would have, had he been the guy that met George Halas, he would have that first $1.
That's just not right.
Yes, it is right. Just as a keepsake.
That's right.
What else do you think I meant? On 1st and 10. Beautiful throw down the field. That was Gronkowski, the tight end, going deep. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Holding offense number 82. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
Well, the Patriots next week, they'll stay in the NFC North, if you will, as far as matchups. They'll take on Green Bay, which had Aaron Rodgers knocked out of the game today with a concussion injury. Flynn came in for him, and the Packers lost at Detroit 7-3. Then at Buffalo, and then we'll host Miami, the final game of the regular season. First and 20. That's a catch by Brandon Tate. Wednesday, Showtime, JB, Chris, Warren Sapp, and there you are. Phil Simms on cable's longest running show, the multi-award winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. This is what it's like down on the field for these guys, okay? It just keeps kicking up.
Kicking up here in the booth.
It is. That last throw to Tate was good for 12. It's a 2nd and 8. That's Gronkowski, pushed back after a gain of about 4.
Well, you know, No, I'm just going to say, Rookie, just, you know what you find out in days like today, if you're the Chicago Bears, you think you're good, and you go, wow, okay, you know what? We better go back into work tomorrow, because if we want to be the best, we got a ways to go. And the standard has been, it's been changed. And I think all teams, once they lose a game, they realize, okay, we thought we were on our way. We better get back to work and listen to these coaches, because that's the only chance we're going to have.
3rd down and 4. I think there were a lot of people out there, even with this 5-game win streak, that were wanting to check this out today to see if the Bears were for real. As Brady able to hold on to it, Peppers was all over him. Fortunate not to have the ball stripped.
Well, Julius Peppers, they did not want him to be the athlete today. In other words, don't let him just start making plays, get the crowd, get the defense all fired up. And when you see something like this, the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you know, Tom, heck of a job, baby. Put that big cape on and start thinking about next week here.
Zoltan Mesko.
I'll give you some good examples, too, of why you start thinking about taking him out.
I think that was a good one right there.
Yeah, well,
that last play. So a touchback, just net of 13 yards. Watching the Bears today muster only 115 yards of total offense. About the Bears' remaining schedule, it's a tough one. The win percentage of the upcoming opponents, it's the hardest remaining schedule in the league when you factor in the Jets and Green Bay. And actually, that was also inclusive of today's game against New England. They were facing teams that were 32-16.
It's tough, but you know what? I think the Bears are tough.
Taylor picks up a first down.
And then, you know, I was watching our pregame show today and looking at everybody. I hope they're all warm, drinking their hot chocolate back there in the studio, but that's another story. But I heard Bill Cowher say that he thinks the Chicago Bears will lose their last 4 games. And, you know, I can't sit here and go, wow, that's just I don't agree. But there are weaknesses on this football team that would concern you. One of them is protecting Jake Cutler in that.
That one's incomplete. You know, just looking at that schedule, next week they're scheduled to play at Minnesota. And of course, yes. Where will that game be played? With a roof collapse at the Vikings home stadium earlier today, forcing their game against the Giants to be played in Detroit tomorrow.
If it's not ready, that I would think they would play it at the University of Minnesota, who is a brand new stadium right by theirs.
And they could be playing in conditions like this. You know, for a second straight week.
Which I really believe would be an advantage to the Chicago Bears. But the Bears are one of those teams the defense can give and make big plays. And they've done a good job this year on offense.
That's Earl Bennett. He's got a first down. You know, they move in that game tomorrow. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. The Giants and the Vikings. And, you know, of course, Giants stranded in Kansas City. And they start looking at options, and Giants say, wait a minute, we didn't pack, any outdoor gear. So they're going to move the game to Detroit. But, I mean, how hard would it have been?
If you're the Eagles or any team that I would be so upset.
Could have traveled the gear in.
Now you're going to play at a neutral site, basically. And you got to play in the Metrodome against Minnesota.
You're saying now, take that game and play it at the University of Minnesota, the new stadium you just mentioned, play it there tomorrow. Have the Giants have almost 36 hours to figure out how to get the kind of outdoor gear you need to play that game. And now maybe Minnesota has they'd have a fan base. They don't like what they're going to have tomorrow.
That's right. And I'm just saying this. You're one of the teams fighting the Giants for a playoff berth. That's my question to you. How would you feel? Now we're going to take the crowd out. Jared Allen doesn't have the crowd to help him in the pass rush, to all the things that it can cause.
Cutler on first down. Oh, he had Bennett waiting on him down at the 10-yard line.
Well, that's a beautiful throw down the field, getting time. And I think this is what the kind of envisioned today, but what a throw by Jay Cutler.
That ball was getting buffeted in the wind a little bit. Wobbling as Arrington is down for a moment. Look at the backdrop there. Wind being, forced throughout. Snow being swept around, and an injury timeout. 6:58 to play. All right, the Bears have the ball on the New England 10-yard line. Maybe it is cold outside. And a little colder for the home crowd today with this Patriots blitzkrieg. As Cutler goes in zone, and it's batted away by James Sanders. Bennett, the receiver.
Talked about it quite a few times today, but when you watch the Patriots, some of the players, Patrick Chung last week, really making a lot of good plays. Darius Butler did a good job last, and then there's James Sanders, steady, reading the quarterback, knocking the football down.
Arrington, remember he was banged up, set out one play, now returns. On second down, Cutler breaks away from the pass. Now throws, and he's intercepted by Merriweather in the end zone. New England takes over again.
Race tonight, only CBS.
4 Chicago turnovers, one of which was a fumble and a run back for a touchdown. .6:31 to go, and Green Ellis plows ahead for about a yard. It's an interesting matchup. Belichick against Mike Martz and Lovie Smith. It was Martz, the head coach, back that first time that Belichick and the Patriots won the Super Bowl down in New Orleans. And that high-powered Rams attack got compromised. The run back by Ty Law for a touchdown. And that one, it all ended with Vinatieri winning it with the field goal, 20-17, beginning the Patriot dynasty. And of course, that game, by the way, was the last game that Pat Summerall and John Madden called together.
That's right.
Great partnership. And on Tuesday night, they both go into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame in New York on Tuesday night. I look forward to being in attendance to see that great moment with those two gentlemen, those two icons. As Brady is sacked still in there. Brady dropped for a 6-yard loss. Also might add that Davey Finch, our extraordinary cameraman, is also going to be recognized and go into the Hall of Fame at that very same event.
All well deserved. Congratulations to all. Tom Brady, just a gem, getting hit there. Why I wouldn't have him in there. If you watched the game a few weeks ago, San Diego, Indianapolis, the game is over. Indianapolis comes out trying to get a late score just for whatever reason. First play, Peyton Manning throws it to Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne's laying on the field, and I go, wow, you're talking about your year could be over.
From the 14, Brady down the sideline. Oh, what a catch that is. Brandon Tate lays out for it and pulls it in.
Yeah, again, no, it's all one right there. He gets off so cleanly away from Tillman, makes the fake inside, swims in, uses his hands, and creates just a vacuum for Tom Brady to make the throw down the sideline to him. So
Brady now comes out just after you called for it and after that throw. Brian Hoyer replaces him. Tom Brady 369 yards today, a new season high. Fred Taylor in the backfield. So Hoyer, the second-year man out of Michigan State, gives it to Freddie Taylor, a 13-year man.
Tell you what, Brian Hoyer, I watched him in this wind and snow today. should have seen him warming up. Couldn't tell him and Tom Brady apart.
And he was undrafted a year ago.
Offside. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down, 5 yards to go.
Big doubleheader day again next week on CBS. Jacksonville, Indianapolis go a long way towards settling the AFC South. Crucial game. Most of the nation will be in Pittsburgh with the second game. Jets and the Steelers, will see you there. And it all gets started at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today.
Well, it's a must win for Indianapolis. It's it. They lose to Jacksonville, it's over.
Hoyer. And that's Taylor breaking tackles. Picks up another first down. We approach the 4-minute mark. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Patriots and the Bears. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms here at Soldier Field. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after the game, except on the West Coast. You'll see it at your regularly scheduled time. Patriots have scored in 17 consecutive quarters going into the fourth, which of course they haven't scored, haven't needed anything of the sort. Well, that ties the longest stretch of scoring quarters in the league this year. And earlier today, Polamalu, the Steelers defense, Polamalu scores once. Woodley gets a pick six. They beat the Bengals. It's the Lions with their third win of the year over the Green Bay Packers. And in a shootout in Jacksonville, the Jaguars beat the Raiders. Boy, the Raiders had some chances in that one. So New England going to 11-2 now. They could have a 2-game lead here unless the Jets are able to rally today. Down 10-6 in the fourth quarter. In that AFC East. Urlacher making another play along with Donahue and Harris. Gain of about 3. Tom Brady moved into 20th all-time passing yardage in NFL history, moving past Steve DeBerg today. In played, by the way, how do you handle the cold weather? He was wearing well, he called it a wetsuit underneath his uniform.
Yeah, he told us about that, I don't know, when, a couple years ago? Yeah. You asked him again last night about it.
Yeah. Ever since that remember that divisional playoff game against the Tennessee Titans 7 years ago, he went to wearing what he calls a wetsuit. It's more like it's scuba gear, if you will, as Woodhead gets the first down. Some may call it like a surfer's outfit, but he says, man, it is tight to the skin, doesn't take up a lot of bulk, and it keeps me warm.
We should have had them on under our shirt.
Yeah, we've got to get those for next time. No question. So we reached the 2-minute mark. 36-7, New England all the way. You know, you go back to 1975, and Bill Belichick was, at the time, a special assistant to Ted Marchibroda with the Baltimore Colts. The first game, now he's only making like $50 a day. His first game was a game at Soldier Field in 1975. They traveled him here for that game. And there's also a guy, by the way, in the Bears making a debut that day by the name of Walter Payton. How about a nod here to the remarkable men and women on our crew here, our technical crew, battled through it. They're out here and it's setting up all day yesterday, crack of dawn this morning, all through the day, and they're not able to move around. It's not easy. At least if you're out there playing in it, you can stay warm.
Well, we saw a lot of them. We came in early this morning. They were everybody was in the tunnel. It's almost like you got to get yourself psyched up for it, of course. It's Bob Wishney down there.
Paul T. Sherwood.
Hard to tell who's who because they're covered up well.
I barely recognized you up here in the booth, man. You got so many layers on.
Hey.
Pete Calander and your crew, outstanding as always.
And of course, we appreciate everybody's hard work, especially in conditions like this. And, you know, another outstanding effort by the Patriots, too.
5 straight wins for New England. 5 straight wins and 5 straight games without a turnover. Incredible. Led it 33-0 at halftime. And they go on to demolish the Bears today at 36-7. 11-2 on the year. Brady now 19 touchdowns since his last interception. Just an incredible stretch of his own. So the final score is New England 36 and Chicago 7 coming up. 60 minutes, followed by the finale of Amazing Race. New episodes Undercover Boss CSI Miami. For Phil Simms and all the crew, Jim Nantz saying so long from Chicago. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
All right, Jim Nantz, we're going to take you out to the new Meadowlands Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Dolphins on top by 4 in the 4th. Let's join the announcers. Ian Eagle.
Poole got him down low. It'll set up 3rd down.
Said at halftime of this one, but the goal or the message last night was teamwork. That speech didn't work, and nothing really worked for the Bears.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Bears, they actually do match up well against the New England Patriots. Things just kind of snowballed a little bit today because realistically, when you look at this game, you take away Knox' fumble recovery, look at Julian Edelman, they get a cheap field goal off a return by him. Then there's a late cheap score right before the halftime. Technically, the Bears just gave away 17 points.
You sound like Wani. You take away those 5 scores.
Yeah, well, I mean, but, you know, it's not there's a difference that you're talking about, Pat. One team will finish, and another team has to make the plays like the New England Patriots make the plays
Affordable
always.
plays.
Yeah.
I played for Chuck Knox when I was with the Rams. He used to talk about there being 5 plays in every game that could change the direction. You look at Brian Urlacher had 3 defense passes today. Yeah. Could they have turned into interceptions? So you have things like that that could change the outcome. At the end of the day, things did literally.
You know, the Knox situation with the fumble. Was he down? Was he down, or was his leg laying on the foot of the defender? Those are the kind of things you're talking about. Just don't go your way sometimes.
Yeah, they get 2 scores in 20 seconds there, and it was pretty much over. Yeah, you look at their first touchdown pass. There was that near pick after Brian deflects it, and Chris Harris dives over to try to make the snag. But all in all, you know, the thing is, the Bears sometimes will beat themselves. The Patriots don't beat themselves.
Well,
they're that good.
Right, and they're extremely well coached. We knew that coming in. We knew offensively what they were capable of. I think the surprise today was defensively, what they were able to do to really kind of bottle up the run game, number 1 of the Bears, and number 2, until late in the ball game, the Bears weren't really passing the football effectively.
Why am I always the positive one? The Bears only give them a field goal the second half. That's how I look at it. So
talked about those adjustments being made,
positive.
Right?
That comes from you doing all those Michigan State games over the years.
That was about the same time you're going, hey, Brady's still in the game.
Right. All right, as always, we want you to get interactive with the show. We'll have Tom Cooper monitoring those thoughts on CSNChicago.com, and we'll check in with him a little bit later on. This also brings us now to our McDonald's Angus 3rd Pounder Player of the Game. Each week we want you to vote on the Bears Player of the Game. Log on to CSNChicago.com, the Bears page, to cast your vote. Do we have any players? Are they
Sammy
Patriots?
Sunshine over here's got a couple of players.
Here they are for you. Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, Earl Bennett, and Brad Maynard.
Well, Mother Nature's not in there anywhere.
Yeah. Bears Postgame Live is brought to you in part by McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. We'll have the results over McDonald's Angus 3rd Pounder Player of the Game at 10:30 tonight on Sportsnet Central Sunday Slant. We get this party going, as we always do every week, with our Xfinity opening kickoff and our lead blocker, Dan Jiggets.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about this game and what it meant. This was a wake-up call to the Bears. Now, you know, we had heard some talk about, you know, people doubting us and this and that and the other thing. Well, maybe, you know, now you know why some people were doubting you, because this is, you know, this is some quality competition. And guess what? It just gets better and better and better out of these next 3 games. It's going to be some tough football games in front of them. So I guess the idea is wake-up call, got the wake-up call. flush it, and let's move on.
Well, not only the wake-up call for me, I talked about it snowballing a little bit for the Chicago Bears. You just got to make the plays when they're there to be made, especially against quality football teams like the New England Patriots. Schedule doesn't get any easier, and we know postseason play, it's not going to get any easier. The tip passes that Howard alluded to, got to make those picks. Guys got to cover guys and not have blown assignments in the secondary, whether it's safety, whether it's Tillman, not let Deion Branch score, and you can't turn over the football. You can't do those things against a quality team like New England.
Yeah, I think one of the things when you look at a game like this, people automatically will point to the turnovers. But I tell you what, just let it go. And I'll tell you why. This is still a good football team. They went against an elite football team today, and they didn't play as well as they needed to. The bar has been set. The Bears players and coaches know where they have to get to if they want to continue down the playoff road.
Because I don't think you can spend a whole lot of time mulling over something like this. Just like if the score had been reversed, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good to be celebrating that on Wednesday and Thursday because the Minnesota Vikings are coming up. Let's worry about them.
Wasn't I the guy that said, let's do the post-game show at halftime and forget the 90 minutes afterwards?
Yeah,
We'll dub in the final score? I wanted to forget it right away,
But
James.
Sammy Sunshine wouldn't have any of that.
Geez, Lovey should have just thrown in the towel, not subject anybody to injury in the second half.
That's a good point. Did you like seeing Jay Cutler out there when the game was out of reach?
Was Tom Brady?
Did you want to see a couple extra? Yes, he was.
Brady could be out there.
Guy out there as well.
In his scuba suit. Your thoughts on Jay Cutler, Jim? Break that down for us. When the games get out of control, we usually see Jay ratchet it down as far as being into the game and some really bad tosses on those two picks.
Well, I don't understand. Howard and I were talking in the green room. They finally go to a 2-minute drill, and Jay's still looking at the sideline for the plays. I mean, just line up and go. You know what the 2-minute offense is. Call a play. You know the game's out of reach. Just start getting in a rhythm. Get something positive, at least momentum-wise, for your football team. But today was a day where I saw Jay get pretty frustrated. We go back earlier in the year against the New York Giants, all the protection problems. Today, Johnny Knox drops a 3rd and 21. We always talk about the body language. For me, for that point on, that's when Jay Cutler started to get frustrated when Johnny dropped that 3rd and 21 in the first half.
Your thoughts on the Johnny Knox fumble? Most of us seem to think it was right? Yeah. They got that right. The ball's beginning to...
The only thing that bothers me is how can you go back and look at a videotape and say, well, okay, his leg was laying down on his foot. If you got a leg down on the ground, chances are it's on more than just a foot. Because, you know, there's like, what, about 6 inches in the front of somebody's foot, and the rest of it is his rump is on the ground.
Yeah. But my only issue with that play for Johnny Knox, here, what do we know about the Bears? How they practice? Those receivers, right now, it's almost like clockwork that when they're in practice, either Tillman or any of those defensive backs are stripping at the ball. The Bears were the last team I thought would have a strip fumble like that return for a touchdown against this receiving core. They see it every day in practice. That should not have happened with Johnny Knox.
Yeah, ball security is absolutely essential, and you know you don't want to hear anything about, well, it was cold, it was windy, it was snowing, because both teams were playing it. And you know, and never again shall we mention the words bear weather.
Yeah. No, that was Patriots weather out there.
Yeah. Done.
No excuse for giving up the 59-yard touchdown to Deion Branch on the last play. That is absolutely...
Goes back to last week. Same kinds of things.
Right.
And, you know, people ask us, say, well, why are you picking at them? They're doing great. Things are going great. Got a 4 or 5 game win streak going. But you look at all the little things, they start to add up, and then all of a sudden you run up against a team like this, and all those things are out there on the table, and a team like New England knows how to take advantage of each and every one of them. When you make those mistakes, they pop you.
And here's the first half stats, Howard, as you continue the thought.
Well, I think one of the things is we wanted to compare this team as an elite team because they were in that position when that's what their record dictated. That we look at this team as an elite team. So then you have to nitpick at them. You have to understand and look at the different things that may be an Achilles heel for this team and what they need to improve on. And today I think they got a large dose of that.
Let's nitpick that play. They're in basic cover 2.
Yep.
The Patriots looked like they were running out the clock and comfortable with, at the time, a 27-0 lead. But hey, credit Bill Belichick, Brady and company. I mean, they don't do everything that you expect. Lovey is stepping to the podium. We'll get back to that blown coverage there just before the half. Here's the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
We were beaten by a good football team today. They dominated us in all 3 phases. Had a good week of practice. Felt like we were ready to go. But, you know, some days this happens. For our football team, we have to learn from this. you have to be ready when you, and we were ready, but you have to play your best ball every snap. And we did too many things wrong, and you can't do that against good football teams like this. So there's not a whole lot more we can say except for give them all of the credit for the game, learn from this, and then get ready to play the next game. Injury-wise, we didn't have a lot of injuries, which is a good thing. It's about the only good thing that really probably came out of the game for us. And we'll just go back to work getting ready for Minnesota. Take your question.
Well, the play again in the first half, the branch touchdown. Can you kind of explain what went wrong?
We should have had someone back deep, and we didn't. It's kind of simple as that. Basic coverage for us. Guess he didn't see the receiver out there. Breakdown in coverage.
What other things defensively were troubling to you?
Them being able to, maintain long drives. They kept the chains moving. I think we stopped them the first time, but from there, they were able to get first downs. Under conditions like that, they were able to throw the ball well, and they also ran the ball well. So, again, defensively, it's all above as far as things we didn't do well today.
Lovey, why did the conditions seem to affect you guys more than them? They didn't seem affected at all.
If we knew that, we would have done something about it out there, I have there's no answer for things like that. Again, they made plays today, and we didn't. As far as the weather affected both of us. They played better than we did.
Their third down efficiency, especially on third and longs, was surprising.
The way they ran the ball was surprising. Again, it's not a whole lot I can tell you today. All situations they did a good job of, whether it's first down, second down, third, putting pressure on us. Creating turnovers on their side of the football. They played better than we did today.
Do you generally think that these kind of conditions favor you guys?
Sure, we play on them, but they play on them too. And again, I don't think the conditions, we're not here talking about the condition. You guys are going to talk about the condition. Both teams played under the same one. They beat us today. I don't think the conditions had a whole lot to do with it.
And they didn't do anything different today, right? I'm assuming
No.
you guys were ready for most everything you saw. Just couldn't stop.
We didn't execute as well as we needed to today.
Coach, down 29 in the fourth quarter, the game pretty much in hand. Did you at least get some consideration to pulling some starters, maybe Jay just living and playing another day?
No, we wanted to do some things well. You want to finish. Even at halftime, we were down, but we wanted to. Sometimes you can be in tough situations like that. You want to see how the guys respond. And we wanted to finish strong, to do some positive things at the end of the football game. Scoring a couple of touchdowns would have done that. Being able to shut them down a little bit more at the end of the game. We wanted to get a little bit of momentum of playing better going into our next football game. So, no, we didn't really consider that.
So, you said confidence. How do you prevent this from being more than just one loss?
Oh, we've been around before. Just that. And guys have. We have a veteran crew. I've been in this situation before where you've been blown out. It happens from time to time, especially against a good football team. But then you go back, and this game counts. It's one loss, no more than that. We went into this game against the Patriots in first place in our division, and we still are. So we just have to take care of business from here on out.
Is it disturbing at all that you had a bad half last week with the defense followed by a bad game this week?
No, it's disturbing that we lost to a good football team today. There's a lot of things everything that went wrong today we don't like, and we're going to do something to try to fix.
With a loss like this, do you just throw it out? Or do you use
No, we don't throw it out. We're going to come in tomorrow. We're going to watch the video, and we're going to put it behind us as soon as we possibly can and then move on. But you learn from every situation you're in. We'll learn a lot from this situation. Number one, we don't like this feeling we're in right now, but sometimes you get your butt beat and you move on.
Do you know anything about what will happen with the Minnesota game in terms of location?
No, don't know anything about it. But again, we know that we're going to play somewhere against them, and it's a big game. Doesn't really matter where we play. We need to get a win next week.
But even if you don't want to dwell on conditions, can you rank them where have you ever played or coached in situations bad today?
No, we've had some tough games here. Atlanta, 2005, I think. Green Bay, maybe 2008, 7. And I think Houston was another game. Those three come to mind that I remember vividly. we'll remember this one.
Ideally, when would you like to know something about where you guys are going?
Whenever they tell us to be, soon enough. Thank you.
Understandably, an agitated Lovie Smith after, his team gets run out of the stadium in the first half. 36-7 is the final. Here's a look at the quarterback comparison. Tom Brady, another stellar performance. 369 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jay with 2 picks, no touchdowns. He's addressing the media live on Comcast Sportsnet.
There were some gusts from time to time, but, other than that, it wasn't that bad.
How do you respond?
You got to learn from it. I was talking to Olin in there. I think he put it best. That's an elite team, and to get where we want to go, that's the team. Those are the teams we've got to beat. We've got to compete with, and it's little mistakes out there, and those things add up in a hurry, especially against a team like that.
Still leading the division now with 2 games.
Yeah, we can't count on other teams. We've got to take care of our business. We've got to win games. We don't want to slide in the back door. We want to be playing our best football right now so we can make a serious run at this.
Jay, it's almost better sometimes to lose a game like this where you're just never in it. It's not your day instead of getting a heartbroken game.
A loss is a loss. You don't want to see. We've been playing really good football up until this point, so it's going to be a setback for us, and we've got to take a look at it and learn from it. But at the same time, we've got to get ready to play Minnesota. We've got to get ready for a tough road game against a division opponent. We've got to gear it back up. We've got to get playing good football again. I think so. I think, with the way Tom's playing, they put points on the board. They put a lot of pressure on the opposing offense. If you don't convert third downs, if you don't sustain drives, if you have any turnovers, they're going to take advantage of it. Any little opening, they make you pay for it, and that's what really good teams do. And if we want to play with them, we've got to do the little things right.
How would you describe field conditions?
We could be playing anywhere. Didn't matter what the field was. Didn't matter what kind of grass we had down there. As much snowfall as we had, it was going to be tough.
Down 33.5. You want to go out in the second half and kind of try to establish some rhythm just to get some points forward?
You want to score points. You want to try to score points as fast as possible, but there's no 33-point play out there. So we had to, take what they gave us, and we came up short. We came up short in a lot of areas.
How impressive was it?
That's why he's the best in the league right now. There's no doubt about it. The way he commands that offense, I think, offensively. The line's been together a long time, but they're skill positions. It probably isn't as good a group as he's had in the past, and he's still completely dominating. So it's tough to watch when you're going against them because they are so good.
After you were honest about the field conditions on Wednesday, you called the press conference to kind of, address those comments. Do you have any reaction to that? Did they call you?
They didn't call me. I think Pep said something about it too. So, it is what it is. They can say that the field is good. The field had no effect on the outcome today. We got beat by a very, very good team, and whether we would have been on turf or not, it wouldn't have mattered. We know what we're going to get out of that field.
When you know there's no room for error with Brady, you tighten up then as the game starts getting out of reach a little bit?
You want to try to keep pace with them. That's the only way to play with them. They're going to move the ball. They put up points in each and every game. They're number 1 in scoring. So, if you, like I said, if you don't convert third downs, if you have any turnovers, you're going to be in the hole, and it's tough to climb out of that.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Jay, after his no touchdown, 2 interception performance against a Patriots team that has been absolutely rolling since the second half at Ford Field on Thanksgiving Day. No problems with the tryptophan in this team. Take a look at what they have put on their opponent. They've outscored them 116-17 over the last 4.5 games. And to put it another way, too, he did it in horrible conditions today. Well, it's almost like those weather conditions didn't bother Brady.
And here's the reason why. I think there are 2 things. Number one, his offensive line. As Jay was mentioning, the line has been together for a long time. Those guys are really good football players. And number two, when you watch the way that they throw the football, it's not like they take a lot of chances. You know, they're like skinny posts and things like that. That you know, the receiver either receiver catches or it's an incomplete pass. Now, my question is, why is it that they have developed into such a smooth running machine? Offensively, is it because of what they run? Is it because of the offensive line? And do you see the Bears at some point or another getting into that same group? Because Tom Brady's been with this offense for a long time, and you can see the confidence that he has in delivering the football.
Absolutely. It is a lot of the scheme. But the Patriots over the years have always been multi-dimensional. We know when they had Randy Moss there, it was a lot of empty sets. Now look what they're doing with their 2 young draft pick tight ends, Gronkowski and Hernandez. They can pound it now. They can spread you out. Some of those tight ends run like wideouts. I mean, Hernandez, draft pick out of Florida, he had a 4.4 40 time. So they've got great skill position players, and Tom Brady's rocking and rolling. I mean, he has flexibility at the line of scrimmage and has pretty much the playbook at his hands if he wants to check to a no-look pass.
And still has a pretty good run game. I mean, it's, you know.
But young guys, the point you're making is I think the Patriots put their focus on that offensive line and protecting their franchise. And from there, they can have Ben Jarvis Green or Woodhead as their running back.
It's almost like it doesn't make any difference.
Or Gronkowski or whoever their tight ends are, and bring Deion Branch back for a second go-around.
Who was suffering when he was out in Seattle.
Right, and everybody will fit because he's got time to throw the rock, and oh, by the way, he can deliver.
And it's called a system.
Yeah.
And in college, they call them programs. This thing runs like a machine. We were talking in the green room about this offense. When they stepped out on the football field, and if you're watching it on television, you obviously saw the winds and the snow blowing. You would have thought it was 70 or 80 degrees. They were going empty sets, 3 wide receivers, and still had that passing game rolling as if the elements didn't mean. That is a mentality that Belichick has instilled, not only into Brady, but into this entire team.
Yeah, it goes back to Belichick too, going back to Urban Meyer. He actually tapped into the Florida offense. And if you look and they threw out the stat today, hard to believe this, the Detroit Lions lead the league in yards after catch. New England's 3rd. When the guys get the rock, they make plays after they catch the football because they're shifty, they're small, and they avoid tackles.
You look at these guys. Wes Welker's what, about 5'9"? Yeah. Woodhead's what, about 5'9"? Branch probably about the same. All of them, you know, kind of quickish, but not really like blazing speed or anything like that. But you look at their effectiveness, it just goes to show you that you don't need guys running 4.2s. What you need are guys that know how to run routes, guys that understand the offense, know how to get open and catch the football.
Okay, more to get to. Of course, we're monitoring your thoughts as we always do at CSNChicago.com. And Tom Cooper has the task of sorting through your emails and comments on this day. What are they saying, Coop?
They are not in a good mood, and I have no idea why. No, conversation starting right now on CSNChicago.com. We'll also take your emails. Just click on the tab on the upper right-hand corner of the page. 3 trending topics right now. Everybody's singing in their warm, comfortable homes in front of the fire and their computers. Round of applause for the fans out there. And the fans, one viewer going as far as saying, 4th phase, the only good phase for the Bears today. Meanwhile, a lot of talk about the quarterbacks. Tom Brady, we all know he's the man. A lot of people saying Jay Cutler looking very flustered out there. Of course, conditions don't help, as well as the Patriots defense. A couple of good comments already coming in the emails. Like I said, CSNChicago.com. Just click that link in the top right-hand corner of the page. One from Jeremy and Carol Stream. Where can I pick up my refund? And also Darius from Chicago with the quote of the day so far. Bears player of the game, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, good point.
Can't beat that.
We'll take that. All right, Coop, we'll continue to check in with you throughout the 90-minute program. A little bit of a shocker there. Granted, Aaron Rodgers goes down with the concussion, so we'll see how long he will be out of action. But for Detroit to step up and get it done and help the Bears out in the process, we'll take it.
Well, they've been on the cusp, as we know.
Yes, yes, they have.
But you know what? Look, when you look at the Green Bay Packers, you have to have a lot of respect for them and a slight bit of fear. And I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is out at quarterback or whatever. When you look at the number of guys they have had injured this year, quality players, and still they're right there on the doorstep, you have to respect a football team like that because you never know what could happen. Any game, all of a sudden somebody goes down, and you know what? Then the playing field is level. And then you got a problem with them.
All right, you got to explain this to me because it was the first question that was brought up to Lovie in his post-game press conference, talking about that 59-yard touchdown to Branch at the end of the first half. He said it was blown coverage. They were in Tampa 2 there. Peanut is on Branch.
Wide. real wide.
Real wide, but he released, he let him go by as if he was going to get safety help.
Right.
You had Major Wright as the safety on that side of the field. He bit on the tight end taking the seam.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, he should have stayed back and take. I mean, my point is, one of those guys would have had single coverage, and you've got the best quarterback in the league, able to pick his poison there. Does he go tight end or does he go branch? Shouldn't we been in some sort of prevent or,
Well, that technically the Bears Tampa 2 kind of morphs into a cover 3 because Urlacher drops so deep on his drop as a middle linebacker, and that's really been the telltale sign of the Tampa 2 and why it's different than, say, just a regular cover 2. So Urlacher's kind of the deep third safety. The only thing you can say to Major Wright, he's got to be wider at the snap of the ball. I mean, because that play is designed to attack a cover 2.
That's what it is.
That
was split it a little bit wider, and then they brought the tight end, and they created, in essence, their own seam.
Yeah, that's right.
And he gets stuck in the middle because that tight end's coming right at him. He's looking at the tight end, and this guy, in the meantime, is beating Peanut like a rented mule.
That was the Colts play in the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's the exact same play.
Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick is a student of history, by the way.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. I'll guarantee he looked at that Super Bowl tape more than a few times, too.
Well, but it goes back to Peanut Tillman, too. You got to know the situation, because at the end of the day, there was no flat defender that he should have been worried about. Nobody else was working the flat. So get depth, get deeper. Granted, still needs help from the safety, but he could have helped himself on that play as well.
Yeah, and kudos to those of you that braved the elements and made your way to Soldier Field and are back home now watching Bears post-game live. The fourth phase was about the only solid phase here for the Chicago Bears. Earl Bennett spoke with our Kip Lewis moments ago at Soldier Field. Let's listen in.
All right, thanks, guys, with Earl Bennett. And Earl, obviously, this was one of those games, another measuring stick game for you guys. How disappointing was it to come out and have this type of performance?
I mean, it was very disappointing. We weren't able to get a rhythm going offensively, and it just came out and just won the game. It was a tough one to swallow, but, we just got to put this one behind us and move forward.
How difficult were the conditions? I know you're not going to blame the conditions because obviously New England did a good job, but how difficult was it for you guys? You just mentioned to me right now you still can't feel your toes and your hands.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was difficult, but as you mentioned, both of the teams was out there. No excuse to be made. It just came out and won the game.
Why do you think you guys were not able to find a rhythm in this game?
You just weren't in sync, Just got to put the puzzle back together and go back from square one.
Defensively, do you see anything different? Did they do anything to surprise you guys at all in this game, or was it more you guys just not taking care of business?
Yeah, it was just us not taking care of business. We knew what they was going to do. We knew their front, their whole defense, but we just weren't able to capitalize.
After a game like this, you're sort of itching to already, I guess after you warm up, maybe to get back out there again and get a chance to take on Minnesota next Monday night?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This one, you pray for this week to go by as fast as possible, and because you just want to put it behind you so fast, and you just got to get ready for this week in Minnesota, division game. We know we got to win.
Earl, appreciate your time, guys. Earl Bennett outside the Bears locker room. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. And Earl is our All-State Good Hands top receiver on this day. He was targeted 7 times, 3 catches for 53 yards. Aroma Shadu was targeted once, had a nice catch, and I've been in favor of. I'm not just going to say Aroma Shadu in particular, but his body type, because we got a lot of short receivers who can get open in space and then do the things after the catch, but we don't have that guy that can go up and make the catch against a taller defensive back. Aroma Shadu at least fits that bill. Don't you think that's one guy that we need to target this offseason?
Maybe, but I'll ask you, can I switch it around? And I have the answer for you, too, by the way, if you want it. When you look at New England and their wide receiver group, they don't have that guy. But, in essence, they do. Because they go with 2 tight ends.
Right.
And they put Hernandez in. He's another big guy. And
with some
got
speed,
excellent
too.
Speed. That's right.
I mean, it
seems like it would help. But see, Devin's problem, I think, Aroma Shadu's problem has been, attention to detail and really figuring out, how to be a pro and learning the game and really developing yourself as a professional. I think his problem is making mistakes. And if you make mistakes, we've seen this season, if you're out there and you're making mistakes, you're going to find a seat on the bench.
For me, it goes back to even the first drive. I've got no problem with Aromashadu and the Bears receivers. I think they're going to continue to grow, and we've seen them make plays. Earl Bennett has been a stud the past couple weeks. Where I have a problem with the Bears, when we talk about the commitment to the run game, it goes back to the first series. 3rd and 1, Greg Olsen can't get a kick-out block on a corner. Devin McCourty, he gets that block. That is a house call to the end zone for Matt Forte. That's where the Bears failed today.
Kip Lewis is standing by with defensive back Tim Jennings. Take it away.
All right, Pat, thanks. And Tim, obviously, we talked to you guys during the week. You guys knew how good Tom Brady was. You surprised he performed as well as he did under these conditions?
Not really surprised at Tom Brady. Kind of surprised at how we performed. You know, that's not the way we wanted to come out and play football. But you got to tap your hats out to New England Patriots. You know, they came out and played better than we did today.
How disappointing is it, and what do you put your finger on what went wrong in this game?
Very disappointing. What really went wrong is, you know, we couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. You know, we couldn't make the plays when we were supposed to make it. They had a couple of big runs on 3rd down, a couple of screens that got out the gate, but that's something we got to get in there correct.
How did the conditions affect you guys? Obviously, both teams had to play in the cold. It didn't seem to really bother their offense, but how difficult was it for you guys out there with the cold and the wind and the snow on the field?
I mean, that's just Chicago weather. You know, we really can't put that on how the weather was. Get out, like I said, get our feet together and just kind of rally to the football and break down and make tackles.
What did Lovie say after the game? Because obviously the one bright spot is you have to put this game beside you. You win next week, Green Bay loses, you guys win the division. But what did the coach say to you after the game?
You just hit it on the head. You know, we got to put this game behind us. We're going to go in there and watch film tomorrow, try to correct some of the things that, you know, we need to correct on, get better as a unit, as a whole football team. And come Wednesday, we got to get ready for Green Bay come Monday night.
Tim, appreciate your time, guys. Tim Jennings outside the Bears locker room. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip and Tim, thank you very much. Kip with the tough assignment of trying to talk to these guys after the embarrassing 36-7 loss. You heard Tim talk about not being able to get off the field on 3rd downs. Patriots 12 of 19 on 3rd down conversions on this day. Coming up, we're going to have today's highlights for you as we head to break. Let's check out our U.S. Cellular poll question on the evening. What are your feelings after today's blowout loss to the Patriots? A, the Pats are the best team in the NFL. B, the Bears showed their true colors. C, just one game, playoffs still in sight. D, at least the Bears didn't lose ground because the Packers lost to Detroit. Go to csnchicago.com, go to the Bears page, vote away. Also, send us your thoughts on today's loss. Tom Cooper's monitoring those. We'll check in with that a little bit later on. Highlights, though, of this one coming up, or lowlights after the break.
Save big.
Welcome back to Bears Post Game Live with Jim Miller. I am Pat Boyle at GMC Sportsnet Central Update. Bears took the snowy field today knowing the Packers had already lost in Detroit, so Lovie's crew looked to take a 2-game lead in the NFC North. Tough conditions, snow, high winds. They had to paint the lines red so they'd be easier to see. You can see it's not just fair weather because the Patriots, they know how to work in these conditions as well. Tom Brady, 13 touchdowns, no picks in his last 4 games. Bears first drive, 3rd and 1. Greg Olsen misses his blocking assignment, and Matt Forte hit for a loss of 2 yards there. Under 10 minutes left in the first. 3rd and 10. Brady looking for Wes Welker, working the middle of the field as he usually does. 17 yards and a first down later in the drive. 3rd and 12. Brady dropping back and finds a lonely Deion Branch sitting in between the safeties and the linebackers. Pats 12 of 19 on 3rd downs. 2nd goal. Bears almost come up with the interception. Urlacher tips it. Chris Harris just misses it. And, Jim, you thought Chris might have had a shot at catching this maybe if Brian didn't tip.
Yeah, the Bears mixed up coverage all that drive. Single safety, cover 2, that drive. If Urlacher doesn't tip that, Chris Harris was in position to make that pick. It's actually unfortunate that Brian tipped it.
And Brady makes a pay. Next play, 3rd and goal. He hits the rookie tight end, Rob Gronkowski.
Should have been a flag. Offensive PI.
85-yard drive. 2nd quarter, Pats next drive. Brady to Welker on that screen. Perfect call in this spot. 19 yards, 27 first downs for the Patriots. 3 plays later, 1st and 10. The law firm of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, right side. Takes it to the 5. Next play, just calling another young guy. How about Danny Woodhead? And little guy finds a lane and just dives over the goal line. So it's 14-0, 11th straight red zone drive with a touchdown. That's incredible. Bears ball, and here we go. Johnny Knox catches it, fumbles. Gary Guyton picks it up 35 yards later. It's 21-0, 2 scores in 20 seconds. This was the turning point, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Bears were shocked that everything was going so south on him. And here you look, he's not down. The ball's coming out. And of all the receivers in the NFL, the Bears receivers, they work on this all day. The Bears corners are stripping at him all day. Johnny Knox is better than that.
You're telling me if McCourty's foot isn't under his rear end there,
That's a fumble.
All right.
That is a fumble.
Bears get it back. 2nd and 11. Manu Maliuna gets called for holding. Patriots still not done. Nice play there. Shane Graham working the draw on his driver there to put it through. 24-0 Patriots. Cutler under pressure. Sacked by Eric Moore. He fumbles the rock. Jared Mayo recovers. Led to another 3 points for the Patriots. 5 ticks to go. This was just an absolute backbreaker. We talked about it. The Tampa 2, cover 2, Deion Branch wide open. How does this happen?
Yeah, blown covers. That's the Bears' basic defense right there. Safety bites on the tight end down the middle of the field. Tillman's expecting over-the-top help from his safety. Major right, well, that's a major rookie mistake.
Third quarter, Belichick with the huge lead. Here comes Mr. Ridiculous. Devin Hester weaving his way. Wants that NFL record. Setting return for a touchdown, 61 yards. Sets up a Chester Taylor touchdown to make it 36-7. Last seconds of the third, Cutler dropping back, and what the heck is he thinking here?
No business making that throw. I was wondering if I was waiting for the replay to see if he got his arm hit on that, but 2 costly interceptions by Jay Cutler where he had no business throwing the football.
You see what the grounds crew at Soldier Field had to go through just to make that field playable. You know what the fans did, putting up their big dollars to go sit through that, and to see that type of performance, it's just a killer.
I think it's disappointing because I think if they were to have a rematch, the Bears do match up against the New England Patriots, and they match up very well. I think when things just started to fall out of control, and then you're playing catch-up, took the Bears' run game out of the situation because I think a heavy sets would have been big for the Bears today, but Greg Olsen, like I said, the opening drive doesn't make that block. That should have been the key personnel grouping for the Chicago Bears today against the New England Patriots. I think it's devastating for the Bears because they know that they're a much better team than what they slapped out there today.
So as you sift through this with the weather and everything else, what do you take away from this, from the positive side from the Bears, if you can?
Well, I think for the Bears, clean up certain situations. 1, the blown coverage. 2, you got to finish on the plays when you have tip passes. You got to make those key interceptions against quality teams like the New England Patriots. So it's a big lesson learned because I think the Bears are close to being that, but today, that's a huge blow to the ego to the Bears. They felt that they were ready to take on this football team, much like how they took on the Philadelphia Eagles, and everything just backfired on them today. So that's a blow to the ego.
When you talk about the lack of production from the Bears offense on this day, who do you put most of the blame on, the O-line or Jay?
I think just falling behind. I think the situation, Johnny Knox can't have the fumble because even if you take away the Bears, they basically gave New England 17 points. They would have been in the game if that's not the situation. So they just fell behind too far too quickly because the Bears needed to run the ball against a paper-thin defensive line of the New England Patriots, and then the run game was taken out of the equation once New England had that big lead.
So now they dropped to 9-4. It sets up with that Monday night game in Minnesota, we think, or could be somewhere else. As you know, the Metrodome had a collapse there yesterday due to the snowstorm. So the Vikings and Giants are going to play in Detroit tomorrow night. So you'll get the Vikings on some short rest. Didn't really hurt the Patriots on this night, but.
No.
And we also may not see Brett Favre. Your thoughts on what we might see in that game?
I'd actually like to see Brett Favre. I think Tavares Jackson is really more dangerous with his mobility. I mean, let's just put it that way. I mean, Michael Vick, he gave the Bears some problems with his running ability, and Tavares Jackson has that. So I'm with you. Short week, that could benefit the Bears, and I actually want Brett Favre to line up for that football team. I think it would be in their favor.
We'll get more into the matchup against the Vikings a little bit later on in this show, plus more reaction from Soldier Field after the tough 36-7 loss that drops the Bears to 9-4 on the year, but they're still up a game on those Green Bay Packers. Keep it here on US. We do after every Bears game. 36-7 was the final. And here's what you're having to say on CSNChicago.com. John chimes in, 2 things frigid at halftime: the Bears and my beer. All right.
I think both of them were done, huh?
Yeah. And Tom in Lakeview has this to say: thanks, Bears. The biggest game of the season, and the best thing was the tailgate and delicious ribs.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, that's it. Excellent selection.
Yeah, that's about it. We're talking beer, and we're talking ribs.
Well, you know, you know, and again, we'll get into this a little bit later, but you talk about the 4th phase. When you look at the stadium today, and my daughters went to the game. They were out there in the cold weather. They're loving it.
When do you think they left?
No.
They stayed to the bitter end?
Oh, yeah, they will stay to the bitter end. It's the way they are. Me, I might have. Here's the thing, though. You look at the 4th phase and the fans and how they stuck with this football team. And you saw the stands at the end of that ball game. That's a tribute to them and how much they believe in this team. So, you know what? If there's anything that comes out of this, you guys better pay attention to that and make sure you respect that the next time you roll out against the Minnesota Vikings. Remember, those folks were there, and they kept playing.
Your thoughts on this report that Lovie addressed the team last night? Do we make too much of what coaches have to say? I mean, Lovie got a lot of praise for at least ripping them last week in Detroit, the defense, after what they had done in that first half, and they turned it around in the second half. And a lot of guys, I think even Chris Harris said on the Lovie meter, he's usually at a 5. That was like a 7-8. Last night, he addresses the team before the biggest game of the season to date. And, you know, apparently some of the guys got a little emotional. We make too much of this stuff, or how much of this?
I don't know. You know, you can think back of all the speeches that coaches have made during the course of your career, and some of them have you know, impacted when you go out to play. A lot of it, though, is more about where you are during the course of the season and how you're preparing yourself for whether or not, you know, you're going to make some kind of a playoff run or a championship run or whatever if you're in college or high school football. And I think that that's the whole idea, getting you in the right mental frame of mind. And sometimes it may not work today. Yeah. It may not work tomorrow, but at some point or another it comes back. And that's all a part of what you take away from the game with you, too, because some of that stuff stays with you. I don't care how old you get. You remember, so, you know, I remember when so-and-so said to me about this and how you're supposed to react in these kinds of situations. This was a huge game for this football team, and they let themselves down. They didn't let us down. They let themselves down today.
You know, we know Tom Brady is a surgeon when it comes to picking apart the Tampa 2. He likes to work the inside of the field. He tries to figure out, does he need to go over the linebackers or bring it underneath to them? And, you know, it's precision all the time.
But you know what? You're answering the question, though. Think about this. He understands where the weaknesses are in the defense. And that's ultimately what any offense wants to do going against a defense, is understanding the offense.
Well, I think here's the thing. You're not going to fool Tom Brady every play. The Bears got him 3 times today. Couldn't finish it with the interception. The tip balls, if the Bears make those plays, that's about all you can ask going against somebody like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. They're too good. The Bears did a great job mixing up their coverage. It was Tampa 2 sometimes. It was single safety, brought a little blitz. Peppers is batting down balls. I mean, that's all you could ask. 3 times they screwed them up. You got to make those plays. You got to make those plays.
Tommy Harris spoke to our Kip Lewis just moments ago. Let's take you to Soldier Field for that.
All right, thanks, guys, with Tommy Harris. And Tommy, obviously, you guys knew how good the Patriots were coming in this game. Safe to say this was a little bit of a wake-up call for you guys?
Not a wake-up call. It's one of those things. We got in the ring, the fight. We knew the opponent we were fighting, and we got knocked out. So it's how we come back from it.
How impressed were you by the way Brady played in this game under these conditions?
They're from New England. So, I mean, those guys are used to this more than we are. and they did a great job. But at the same time, we didn't execute, and we gave up a lot of big plays.
How difficult were these conditions to play? And I know you guys have practiced in it, practiced outside, but to have to go play a game in that, how difficult was it?
Well, you can't really have excuses, man. This game could have been either way. We could have came out with a win, and it wouldn't been any complaints about the turf or anything. So, I mean, you got to play. It's football. And we went out there. It was tough conditions, but they didn't have a problem with it.
Third downs, is that the big thing that stood out to you guys? I think New England was 12 of 19 on third down.
Yeah, in the first half, I noticed they had 12, and that's something that we can't have on our defense and that we let loose. And we just have to get better and go back to the drawing board.
It's a positive thing you guys get a chance, obviously. I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, this is just one game. Is that sort of what was said after the game in the locker room?
Yeah, it is. And you get a taste of humble pie, man, and you go back, and it's all how you come back from it, man. It's no embarrassment. It's how you come back from it, and I think we'll do well next week.
Tommy, appreciate your time. I know it's tough to come on after a loss, but appreciate it, guys.
No.
Tommy Harris, outside the locker room, guys. Let's go back to you in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. Tommy looks like he's been shopping with Julius Peppers for eyewear.
At the Clark Kent store.
The Clark Kent store. Well, it looked like the Patriots had the kryptonite on this day for the Bears defense. They give up the 29 points because of the fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Gary Guyton on the 35-yard touchdown on the fumble recovery there. Take a look. They gave up 124 yards on the ground, 351 through the air. You said all in all, you were okay with the scheme. It was just execution.
I think it's more or less execution. And again, you can't make the mistake right before halftime to give up the cheap score. The fumble return by Johnny Knox by Gary Guyton, who takes in. The Bears gave away 17 points. They screwed up Tom Brady 3 times. You got to make those plays. You got to get interceptions against a quality team like New England. That's how hot this offense is right now in New England. Think about this. On the road alone, New England come this game, they were averaging 29 points on the road. That's exactly what they hit today.
And special teams gave you a little bit of an opportunity today, too. With the return game, the kickoff returns, unfortunately, we saw way too many kickoff returns today.
Yeah.
But when you look back at Manning's performance, and then Devon almost broke one today. However, on the flip side of that, the coverage teams, I think, is what Dave Tobe was going to be a little bit upset about.
I want to carry that thought on Devon just one step further. Last week against Detroit, he was tripped up, almost took it back to the house, and there was that shot of him on the sidelines, and he took it pretty hard. It looked like he had just lost the game and, the playoff hopes or something like that. He wants to set this NFL record. You've heard Lovey and the guys, they want to get it for him. We've got 3 games to go. My question to you is, would you be concerned that in trying to set this record, he may do something or gamble or do something that he shouldn't do and overall hurt this team big picture?
No, and I'm not concerned about that. And the reason why is what he's doing what he does. That is return the football. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him even having a desire to go out if he wants to return kickoffs. That's fine. That's what he does. That's his specialty. That's what he's better than anybody else in the league. So, if you get those opportunities, Daniel Manning's been doing a heck of a job at 240 yarders today. But you know what? If Devin wants to jump back in there every now and then, let him go ahead, because Danny Manning's got to go out there on the field, in passing situations a lot.
And he doesn't make mistakes. You may argue whether or not he should have fair caught a ball or whether he should have brought it out or different things like that, but taking care of the football, he's done a good job of doing that throughout his career, and he's a big play player. And when you have a player like that on your team, the coaches really are just going to allow him to go out and make the plays, and the guys just want to see that record be set and broken.
No Pisatina Isamoa in this game. The Bears have been relatively healthy all season long, but we do have video, not exactly the most encouraging piece of tape that we're going to show you. This is Peanut Tillman moments ago, and you can see he's on crutches and he's got a boot on his right foot. So we will continue to monitor that as Peanut Tillman was leaving Soldier Field there with the crutches. Obviously would certainly.
Well, sometimes when they put the walking boot on, they just want to stabilize it. It may not be something that's going to keep you out of next week's game.
Keep you warm on a cold day.
Except for the toes.
The toes are a problem.
That's true.
A little dicey on the toes.
Lance Briggs joins us every Thursday on a show called Countdown to Kickoff. Here he is addressing the media a short time ago. Let's listen in.
From the very first step of the game.
Outplayed in every phase of the game. Every phase of the game. That team played a much better game than we did.
Did the weather have anything to do with it?
We both played in that weather, you know. You can call it bear weather, Patriot weather, whatever you want to call it. We both were on that field.
You knew they were good, but were you kind of stunned after a while what was happening on the field?
Well, I mean, when you're ineffective, you know, you get a touchdown on one play at the end of the half. You know, I mean, that's just us not playing good football. They catch the ball, you know, within the field, and we get them down, and that half is over, you know. But now you're going into the half, you know, with a huge deficit, keep digging holes.
That one hurt the most, then. It kind of took the wind out of you the most.
I think that one definitely, you know, when you go into halftime, you got a deficit like that. Like you dug such a deep hole, and to come out, you need a few big plays.
To put it another way, were you surprised that they were so effective in this bad weather, that Brady was basically picking your defense apart?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, hats off to them. Was I surprised? Yeah. You know, obviously we think we would play a better game. But, you know, sometimes you need a good butt whooping. And that's what we got.
Why do you need it?
Why do you need it?
Yeah.
To get yourself back to where you need to be. You know, ground yourself a little bit, take you off your high horse. You know, things like that are it can be good, and it can come at the right time.
So last week's first half didn't do that because you ended up winning?
Yeah. I mean, it was nothing like today. Nothing at all like today. You know, today was a butt whooping all the way through. You know, and we'll take it in, we'll come in, we'll watch film, and we'll move forward.
All right, Lance Briggs not happy about the 36-7 loss where the Bears defense was schooled by Tom Brady and company. We got our own Tom here, and his name is Tom Cooper. He's monitoring your thoughts on CSNChicago.com. Coop, what is trending at this particular time?
I'm nowhere near as pretty as the other Tom, though.
No, but you're in the team portrait.
We can all dream, though. Thanks.
Don't sell yourself short. You're a tremendous slouch.
Bears PGL Interactive. Thanks, I appreciate it. Right now on CSNChicago.com. Also taking your emails on the website as well. 3 trending topics right now. The division race. That Lions win today was huge, because when you look at it, the Bears next week do have a chance to clinch the division title if the Packers lose at New England and the Bears win Monday night against Minnesota, wherever they play that game. Bears could clinch the division. So a lot of people kind of using that to grasp onto. Better team won. A lot of people are saying better team won. It's kind of hard to argue that after this game. And also, a lot of people saying, where's the defense? When we were playing back the highlights earlier here on Bears Postgame Live, a lot of people at that moment, you know, chiming in. Where was Peanut on this play? Where's Julius Peppers? Paul in the chat chimes in with a good question here. Why didn't the Bears play closer to the line of scrimmage when they know that the Patriots are a dink-and-dunk team on offense, guys?
All right, Coop, thank you very much. That goes back to what they did in the Eagles game, trying to reroute the wide receivers. Your thoughts on that particular email?
Well, I'm not buying it what everybody's saying, that the Patriots can't beat you deep. I mean, because they can. Deion Branch can flat out get it as a wide receiver. Hernandez, their tight end, I mentioned it. He's a 4-4 guy. So, and the Brandon Tate isn't a slouch, a young draft pick out of North Carolina. So I'm not believing just because Randy Moss is off there. I've seen it personally what Deion Branch can do. He can fly. Forget about the knee injuries he sustained. That guy can get it. And if you saw their game against the Jets, he had Antonio Cromartie beat on a post route by 5 steps. And Antonio Cromartie can fly as a corner.
Well, and you look at the threats of the group, the receivers that they've got. Look how many touchdowns there are between the tight ends and Welker alone, you know, without including everybody else in the receiving corps. There's a ton of touchdowns, and I think that the tight end position for itself is 11 or 12 now.
Coming into this game, yeah.
So, I mean, they've got some weapons that I guess are non-traditional weapons in terms of scoring when you think about throwing to the tight end that much in the red zone.
You surprised Forte couldn't get going, Howard?
Not really. I think the conditions were tough, but I think one of the things that happens is they were going to get into a shootout as well, and once the score got out of hand, it dictated that the Chicago Bears had to throw the football. So it really wasn't a lot of opportunities in the running game today because of the conditions and because of the score.
We're going to hear from Tom Brady coming up. We're going to hear from Bill Belichick. We'll also hear from Brian Urlacher. Continue to monitor your thoughts on CSNChicago.com. Here's another look at our U.S. Cellular poll question. It is, what are your feelings after tonight's blowout loss to New England? The Patriots are the best team in the NFL. Bears showed their true colors. Just one game, playoffs still in sight. At least Bears didn't lose ground because the Packers lost. Go to csnchicago.com, vote away. Results coming up. Game live with our Four Seasons Who's Hot, Who's Not from Week 14 of the NFL. How about Run DMC? Darren McFadden, 3 touchdowns, $123. You guys said simply he's healthy this year, and that's why we're seeing the numbers, right?
And started to grow into a pro football
and the Raiders
player.
still found a way to lose the game.
That's true. Michael Turner and the Falcons get it done on the road.
North Chicago's own.
Alex Smith reinserted as the quarterback.
That's surprising. Even he didn't know why he was reinserted as the quarterback. They're 3-5 with Troy Smith.
You're back in. Really?
Yeah.
Jake Delhomme, rough afternoon for him. 12 of 20 for 86 yards and a pick. Jimmy Clausen in Carolina just continue to struggle.
He stays on this list.
He does. I think he's just Mr. Who's Not is what they're calling him now in Charlotte. And Brody Croyle. A quarterback rating 48.9.
Didn't he play on a better Alabama team, maybe?
31 zip losers in that one.
Down there, I believe.
Yeah. Julius Peppers had 6 tackles and a sack. He addressed the media a short time ago. Did he have the shades?
Whatever you want to make of it. Not really much to say. We got outplayed today. That's it. I really don't know what else to say other than that.
That said, sometimes you need a good butt whooping to knock you off your high horse. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, yeah, you need it sometimes. You know, and you know we'll have a short-term memory about this. We're gonna make the corrections. Get on to Minnesota tomorrow.
Were the conditions a factor, Julius, especially on the defensive line?
I think it was a factor. Like, it's obvious it was a factor. I don't know how much of a factor it was, but you know, we all, both teams played on the same surface, so that's not an excuse for that poor performance.
What did you think of Tom Brady's performance against you guys today?
It was great. He's a great player. He makes plays, and you know, I don't know what to say much more than that. He had a great day.
Were you surprised at how successful they were despite the weather conditions?
No, not really. They play in this type of weather all the time. So, you know, it's not really much to say other than we got outplayed. They were the better team today, and we need to get a lot better to accomplish goals that we want to.
Will it be easy or tough to regroup from this loss?
It'll be I think easy. In my opinion, it'll be easy because we have a lot of high character guys in here. We're gonna put this behind us, and we're gonna come back with a hard working attitude this week. So you know, we got good guys in here and guys ready to keep fighting.
If you guys use this game as a measuring stick, what does it tell you about where you were at as a team?
We need to get better, a lot better, quickly.
How much did they keep you off balance with their offense?
They did a pretty good job of keeping us off balance early. You know, this is a good football team, the best in the league right now. So today they proved why.
They certainly did, Julius, and that guy right there is having an MVP season. Take a look at Tom Brady's record in his career against the NFC. 30-6 now against the conference. The touchdowns to interception ratio 70-27, a quarterback rating around 100. You know, what else are you going to say? I mean,
well, by default, he's got 3 wins because he's won 3 Super Bowls over the NFC.
That's true, too. Good point. Good point. And certainly he's not bothered by the bad, weather. We had the tuck rule against the Raiders at Foxborough. He's played a slew of games in New England in bad weather. When he played for the University of Michigan, which wasn't a lot because Lloyd Carr had him on the bench quite a bit, but he certainly was used to some bad weather in Big Ten play. Here's Tom Brady not too long ago from Soldier Field talking about the elements today.
Well, we've been playing in an environment in Foxborough for a long time that has pretty inclement weather conditions. So all of us who are out there today have certainly played in snow and wind and bad weather. So, everyone executed pretty well at times today. It was a good win. It's a very good football team, good defense. We Defense turned it over for us a bunch, which was great. We really needed that. You know, it's just great to come in here and get a win on the road against a very tough team on a short week. So.
A lot of the plays that you ran today seem to be like things that, you know, Wes Welker runs that little thing, and that works with us 96 degrees or 26 degrees.
Yeah.
Did you guys make a conscious decision to just stay with what really was your bread and butter plays all year long in a game like this where you know you can execute them?
Well, you know, I think you talk about the weather conditions quite a bit for the game, and the kind of plays we're going to run and the kind of plays we like, and based on the defense that we're facing. So, you know, some were ones we've done quite a bit. Some were probably new ones out of the playbook. But you know, I wish we'd have got the ball in the red area a little bit more. We kicked too many field goals, I thought. But other than that, it was a pretty good day.
Some people don't like playing in this weather, but a lot of people say, "Hey, this is football. This is fun," and just talk to people guys in your locker room. That's been a great time.
Sure.
How did you feel about playing in the snow and playing in these kind of conditions?
Sure. They don't cancel football games very often, so you know, it's not like baseball or you know, we don't play out there in San Diego all the time. So, you know, you're out in the cold weather. You're out in whatever the elements are. We've got to be mentally tough enough to play in them. Both teams are playing in them. So, Coach always stresses the opponent that we're playing is the Chicago Bears. You know, not the weather, not the refs, not the crowd. You know, it's the Bears, and I think we were all pretty focused in on that today.
Tom, what do the warm-ups do for you? You know, you get out there and see the wind and everything else. Kind of an Uggs and Under Armour day for you.
Sure, you know, definitely. It was one of those days. You know, one of those days a lot of people would be cozied up near the fireplace drinking hot chocolate. But, you know, we work on Sundays, and all of us, we're pretty committed to come out here and try to play well and execute well in some pretty tough conditions. And for the most part, we did that.
What was the difference between playing basically the same kind of
I don't know. I don't remember those days very well. I just. Yeah. Well, we've been pretty good in snow over the years for whatever reason. I think because we practice in it quite a bit. Tell you the truth, I mean, we don't go in our bubble very often. If it's windy out there, we practice out there. If it's snowy, we practice in the snow. So if it's rainy, we practice in the rain. And some conditions are a bit tougher than others. Thought it was great for us to get out to a lead today and to play from ahead. That was really important. And I think we took advantage of some opportunities that we got on offense. We also didn't take advantage of some opportunities on offense. Our defense gave it to us on a short field, some great punt returns. But it was a fun day. We'll remember that one.
So Tom having a lot of fun at Soldier Field today, and take a look at the fun he's had over the last 5 games. 5-0 over that span, 15 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Christmas spirit. It was a little snow globe out there.
Yeah,
he was having fun. He's a interesting guy to work with, and I'll tell you what, nobody works harder in the National Football League at his craft. That guy earns everything he gets.
And he's tough. As much as we talk about Giselle and the pretty boy looks and everything else, guy had his knee blown. The guy had his knee blown out 2 years ago and fought through it last year. And you could see he wasn't quite himself. Right. But having worked with him, tell the folks at home what Tom Brady's all about.
He's everything you want. I mean, he's tough. He's competitive. Everything you read about the first guy in the building, last one to leave, that's what Tom Brady's all. And he's all about team. So it's nothing personal when he gets on a teammate's back, saying like a receiver, this is what I expect. This is what we have to do. Let's get it done. So a very impressive guy, has tremendous drive, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. He loves football.
From a leadership standpoint, what is he like?
A great leader.
Because we talk about what are the components that make him a great leader?
Yeah, I think he's demanding. You know, one, he's demanding of his teammates. He's demanding of knowing how that offense needs to perform and picking guys up and raising their level of play. Because, again, you've seen Tom Brady do more with less. I mean, he's got some good receivers right now, but there were the Jabbar Gaffney years. There were some not so where they had the talent, the wide receiver, and he was still able to manage it. But tremendous drive, very demanding, great teammate, and again, leads by example. He works his fanny off to be the best in the NFL.
Sounds like a perfect fit for his boss, Bill Belichick, who works very hard, always prepared. And he addressed the media a short time ago. Let's listen into that.
Again, proud of our football team today. Short week, coming off a tough game against the Jets, and then coming in here and playing the Bears, it's a big challenge for us, but they really rose to it. Really proud of our guys on offense, not turning the ball over. Tough conditions out there, but they did a real good job of protecting the ball for the most part. I mean, I know Chicago had a couple of chances to get it there, but overall we were able to keep it and had some field position and were able to get some points on the board early, take advantage of some turnovers and opportunities, and of course the play to Dion at the end of the half. I mean, that was two great players there making a great play. So really got to give Tom and Dion a lot of credit on that one for just great execution. But it's good to win. Good to good to come out here and play well against the Bears. It's a good football team. I'm sure they've got a lot of football left, and we'll just go back and turn around here against Green Bay.
Bill, when did you decide that you would be able to spread them out and throw the ball, and that the wind would not prevent you from doing that? Was that a game time decision?
Well, yeah, I think anytime you get into a game like this, you kind of got to see what you feel like you can do, what you can do, what you can't do. Some plays you want to, you feel good about. Other plays you probably want to, get rid of. Probably should have got rid of that toss play we ran the second play of the game. That would have been a good one to forget about. But, right, just kind of just seeing how it goes in pregame warm-up, and then as you get into the game, kind of getting a feel for what you're able to execute and what you're not.
How would you describe the conditions and the way they played out in the game?
Well, I mean, the wind was a factor. So, there was snow on the field from the beginning, and the flurries made it sometimes hard for the skilled guys to see. You get that snow coming down, you got to. But it's it changed. At times it was still out there, and other times the wind was was a big factor. So certainly the footing was an issue.
Jim, having played for Belichick, if you could boil it down, what makes him different from all the other coaches that you have been under, whether it be college or the pros? What separates him from those guys?
He's all over everything. It's all about situational football. He can coach every player on defense. He can coach every player on offense. And I bring it up all the time. He coached our quarterback meetings when I was in New England. I've never had a head coach do that, and knowledgeable about offense, knowledgeable about situations, what you need to do at the quarterback position to be successful. And if people don't think it's just Bill Belichick, Romeo Crennel's left there, Charlie Weiss is left there, Scott Pioli's left there. This guy's the head coach. He's their defensive coordinator. He's their GM. He works all their trades. This dude is a genius. He is all over everything, and that's why the NFL Copycat League, you better study this guy because he gets it done.
Well, he's a student of the game. I remember going into Cleveland one time. He took me. He was the head coach of the Browns at the time. Showed me his library of all of everything from coaching that you could imagine in this library, and that's what he does. That's his thing in life, is to be the best he could possibly be in coaching, and he covers everything soup to nuts. May I give you an example?
Sure.
When you saw the Patriots line up to kick their first extra point and all their field goal attempts in between, what did the offensive linemen do while everybody else was standing around? They're over there with their feet kicking the snow, and now they couldn't find a snowblower like Chuck Fairbanks did back in the day, or some guy that just broke out to come clean up the spot up. But it's just a small example of covering every detail that you're supposed to cover in situations like this. You come in with a snowstorm coming in. Offensive linemen, make sure that before you guys line up, you clear that snow away so our kicker has some sound footing. Those are the kinds of small things and small details that a great coach covers.
Howard, he sounds a lot like the guy you played for in Mike Shanahan in Denver. The difference is, Shanahan had some questionable decisions that he made with personnel. Now he goes to Washington, some questionable moves personnel-wise. All these guys want to have their hands over everything, their fingerprints on player personnel, draft, the entire roster, and everything that happens on Sundays, and very few succeed. I guess it does take a true genius to handle it, all the hats that Belichick and that Shanahan tries to do.
Well, it absolutely does. And keep in mind, when you talk about wearing all of those hats, you talk about being a general manager, that's a very tough job, because there have been many more head coaches and general managers that have failed at that. And even Shanahan couldn't sustain it as long as Belichick is taking care of it. And he's found a way. He's found a formula. Keep in mind, he wasn't the genius when he was in Cleveland, but he had all of those experiences, and he's taken them to New England, and he's continued to get better at it. The only difference, he's been able to do it for a long time.
I'll give you a case in point on something as small as what he just said. He took it to Foxborough. I asked Bill Belichick when I arrived there, why did you quit being the head coach of the New York Jets? Remember, he quit to become, after one day, the coach of the New England Patriots. He said, Jim, look where you are. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're halfway in between Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston, Massachusetts. He said, you've got nothing to do here but football. When we were in Cleveland, dudes were hanging out down at the flat. He couldn't get guys focused on football, so he even learned from something as small as that.
Let's take a look at the scores from Week 14 of the National Football League. You certainly know the Bears lost 36-7. But there you see what happened at Ford Field. The Lions helping out the Packers. Lions knock Aaron Rodgers out of the game with a concussion. They beat him 7-3. And so now the Packers are at 8-5 on the campaign. Falcons get it done on the road, 31-10 the final there. Buccaneers squeak one out against the Redskins, who had some kicking issues in that one. 17-16 the final. The Saints, they've got it going.
For real.
They definitely have it going now, and they're getting healthy. Oh, by the way, 49ers, go figure, 40-21 over Seattle. The Chargers bounce back, and they get it done 31-0 after the tough loss to the Raiders last week. Jaguars knock off the Raiders. Raiders were in control of that one early on, but the Jags took care of business at home. And the Dolphins, what is going on with the Jets?
They are who we thought they were.
They're pretenders.
I want to go back to that Jaguars game, too. You know, it was just one of those similar things where two plays and they scored at the tail end of the ballgame. The Raiders have gone down and scored at the end of late in the fourth quarter. Jaguars get the ball, 2 plays, boom, back into the other way. It's almost like they let Maurice Jones-Drew run a 40-yarder just so they could get the football back and try to score again.
More U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live coming your way after the break. 11 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 pass deflections, almost had himself an interception or 2. He addressed the media a short time ago.
Did pretty well. And like I said, the weather didn't affect them.
Was the last play of the first half the worst of it? You may have scored that touchdown.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to point out one play. There's tons of plays in there that you could pick out, I'm sure. So I'm not going to point out one play.
Lance said sometimes you need a butt kicking during the season.
Definitely don't like them, but I hope we learn from it. You know, the reality is we got our butts kicked and we're still in first place. You know, we got to take something out of this. We'll watch the film and learn from it tomorrow, but we're still in first place in the NFC North, and that's where we wanted to be when the season started, and we still are.
Did you guys see that the Packers have lost before the game?
No, it doesn't matter.
Your confidence shaking at all in this team right now?
No.
Okay. Was the weather a factor at all?
No, not for them.
Very well said, Brian. By the way, we failed to ask you, how does the Kool-Aid taste?
Well, my friend, it's going to have to be vintage. We'll save it for next week.
There we go.
Sorry, fellas. Everybody was involved. Everybody had a chance.
Danielle Manning did a nice job with the kickoff returns today. 4 for $124, average 31 yards per return. He addressed the media a short time ago.
Yeah, we got up. I mean, no doubt about that. They came in firing on all cylinders. I'll be honest with you, I did not see anybody giving up. You know, so I just feel like that team today was the best team by far. So that's where it is.
Is this tougher to swallow because you could have pulled away in the division with the Packers losing?
At that point, it wasn't. That wasn't even on our mind. We were trying to get back in the game. But now, as you think about it, I mean, it was pretty hard. It's hard to swallow. We could have went up 2 games ahead of the Packers. But it is what it is. It's a situation we're in, and we got to put it behind us, get ready for Minnesota, and hope we get that game out.
Daniel, on that play before half, was it just you guys just got tricked or kind of fooled, or too over-aggressive?
No,
because there's no safety there at all.
For the most part, we were, I would say, just undisciplined.
You're right.
It was just undisciplined play on us, and just a great play on them capitalizing on it.
All right, let's take a look at our third-pounder player of the game. That's McDonald's Angus third-pounder player of the game. This week's choices are
Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers. I feel like Jay Cutler all of a sudden. I don't have interest in the show. I'm getting hit in the blind side.
The field's slippery.
I'm blaming my offensive line. Brad Maynard, Earl Bennett, Julius Peppers, Brian Urlacher. Bears Postgame Live brought to you in part by McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Visit csnchicago.com after every game to vote on your McDonald's Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game. Try saying that like 10 times.
Good. This week, get a $50 cash card for spending $200 or more.
All right, let's take a look at a friend of this show, Super Bears fan, Steve Dahl. Here are his tweets that you can follow at Steve Dahl Show on Twitter. On a positive note, the Jets were only able to score 3 points against the Patriots this week. True. Most entertaining part of today's game was watching the guys from the Park District working the snow squeegees on the yard lines. Now if they could just work on that field and get off Jay Cutler's back.
It was in great shape.
Wasn't that bad?
No, it was fine. Yeah, because we didn't see it and it was frozen and everything else.
It was a totally resodded field. Huh?
Yeah, whatever. Are they your boys? Is that why you're saying that? Like you? Yeah.
Chicks again. Those are my people.
I've got a great parking spot.
My guys.
They're my guys.
You gotta have guys.
Best collapse of the day: the Metrodome or the Bears. Ooh, very good. Well, yeah. Thankfully, nobody was injured in the Metrodome collapse.
The video of it is amazing. To see that thing pop and snap. We had a dome for indoor track and field in college, and one of it popped. And as you're sitting in it, you can feel the air pressure coming out, obviously, and then the roof just starts coming down. You have enough time to get out, fortunately, but it's a little bit disconcerting.
You'd think you guys would be smart at Harvard to build better structures.
This is one of the first ones.
Ah, okay.
This is 1974.
Right.
Yeah, so they just started with those things, but yeah. The weight of snow on the Metrodome is what does that Teflon, and it's a Teflon top that they have on there.
It certainly creates an interesting situation for next week. Now, we know the Vikings are going to play in Detroit tomorrow against the New York Giants, but if that field cannot get back to where it is playable, or the structure where it's playable, they could play at, University of Minnesota's outdoor facility?
Yeah, I think that's probably where they would end up. There were some reports earlier today that it would have taken too long, 7 days, to get that field ready for a game because they had shut it down because football season was over for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, where else would they?
The other thing is they said they've repaired that roof in a week or less before. So they had a couple of days lead time on it this time now. So who knows? They may get the Metrodome up and running again.
Last time was '83. I think they repaired it in 4 days. Is what they said when they had problems with it.
It is a dump.
Play it here, Soldier.
It is a dump.
What do you do with Teflon? Is that a string and thread? What do you do? Somebody's up there with a needle, stitching that thing.
Olin Kreutz usually is the pulse of that locker room. Let's listen to what Olin had to say after this tough loss.
Somebody at the top shows you what it takes to beat it. And if you learn from that, and next time you see them, you close the gap on them, then this could be a great thing for us. And that's a positive way to look at it, and that's the way we will look at it. But obviously they showed us today how far we have to go to be world champs. And if we accept that challenge at the end of the year, who knows where we could be.
You have the guys in here, character guys that
we definitely have high character guys in here, but it takes it's easy to be pretty good and it's hard to be great, and guys have to decide if they want to be good or great.
Tom, great, Brady, great. Today.
No, I mean it's not today. It's his whole career. So Tom Brady goes without saying.
Olin, was there something for the offense? You guys just didn't seem like you could really get a rhythm going at all this game. And was there anything did they do something to surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them all the credit. They didn't surprise us. They outplayed us. I mean, when you line up in that kind of conditions, there's not going to be much trickery to it. They lined up and they out-executed us. And to be a great team, you have to execute at a high level on every play. And if we can accept that a challenge, then we'll see where we can go.
Were you aware that the Packers had lost to the Lions before this game? Or I don't know.
Yeah, we're aware of it. We're aware of it, but that means really nothing.
Hey, that's Olin Kreutz after the 36-7 loss. The Bears dropped to 9-4. We're all about Tom Brady, Tom Cooper on this show. Coop, what are the folks having to say at CSNChicago.com right about now?
They're still around in the chat room.
Really?
So that's amazing.
That's nice.
I can't believe it. Talking right now, we were playing back Bill Belichick here on Bears Postgame Live. A lot of guys talking about the coaching styles between Lovie Smith and Bill Belichick. A lot of people praising Bill Belichick. Even some people saying, hey, how would Bill Belichick do with this team here in Chicago? Chicago. Also, a lot of people talk about the field conditions, a lot of slippage, obviously the new sod. Didn't really get to see under all the snow. But the top thing right now is everybody's still trying to remain cautiously optimistic that the Bears are still in the driver's seat here in the division. BShep440 in our chat room saying, I mean, come on, it's the NFL. Just get into the postseason. Anything can happen. Getting a first round bye, though, would be big for this team, but baby steps. Let's just get to the playoffs first.
All right, Coop. And again, thanks to everybody who logged on to csnchicago.com and passed along their questions and comments. Coming up, our Monsters of the Midway, the game's MVP. Yep, we got to do it. And also coming up, we'll break down that NFC playoff picture. It's all coming up on US Cellular Bears postgame live as we head to break. Another look at our US Cellular Bears poll question. What are your feelings after today? Time now for our Monsters of the Midway, otherwise known as our Bears MVP. We begin with Howard.
Well, I think it's got to be the fans. What a great job they did sticking around, rooting on their team. But if I had to pick somebody on the football field, it'd be Brian Urlacher. 11 tackles, 3 passes defensed, and 3 tackles for loss.
I'll tell you what, I got to go with Mother Nature. She brought it today. Wind, the snow, that was her A game. Mother Nature, you get my vote.
Thank you, Sammy Sunshine. I'm going to go with the fourth phase of fans and Brian Urlacher. Again, I mentioned before, the fans stayed in that game and kept rooting for this football team even when all was lost.
Yeah, I'll go with the fans because I don't want any angry emails. And I'm going to go with Danielle Manning. 4 returns for 124 yards, 31 yard per return average. All right, let's get into the playoff picture right now. Minnesota is going to take on the Giants tomorrow night in Detroit. We'll find out later on in the week where the Bears will play the Vikings next Monday night. But when you take a look at it, it really sets up well. This loss to Detroit today by Green Bay puts the Bears in a spot where if they win next week against the Vikings, wherever that is played, and the Packers lose to New England in New England, which is, you know, let's be honest, very realistic, very likely, the Bears would clinch the NFC North because the best the Packers could finish in the division is what, 4-2, guys?
Right.
And so we would, even if we lost to the Packers on the last day,
finish 5-1.
5-1.
Right.
And that is the first tiebreaker after head-to-head.
Exactly right. Yep. So the Bears would win the division. And strangely enough, who would have ever thought that a Packers loss to the lowly Lions would end up maybe being their undoing? And it looks like that's the way it's going to shape up right now.
As you take a look at these, the playoff picture, if you look at the teams that are trending, the Falcons have been playing great ball as of late. And I guess we'd say the Saints are probably the other team that's really trending upwards. And, you know, the Eagles, the Rams, they seem to fall into kind of where the Bears are. It's like at times you think, oh, this team's really good, and other times you're like, not so much.
And that's why you say you just want to have an opportunity to get into the playoffs and then let the chips fall where they may, because you never know what happens once you hit the playoffs. So it's really about trying to get in there with some momentum behind you.
Well, and as far as as we were talking about last week, I thought that they needed 12 wins, the Bears did, to guarantee a playoff spot, and I think that's pretty much. It may be 11, but who knows? I think it's going to take 12 still.
It's one thing that can change the fortunes. Look at Green Bay. They lose their star, Aaron Rodgers. If he can't even go next week, Green Bay's got no shot. You can say that for New Orleans. If Drew Brees were to get hurt, count them out. I would actually give Atlanta. Atlanta has a pretty good backup right now to step in if Matt Ryan were to go down due to injury.
Well, you know, it points up something else that we were talking about earlier in the year, is how thin some teams have gotten in terms of personnel because of salary caps, et cetera, et cetera. You don't see that many teams, even with a backup quarterback. How many teams have that real solid backup?
Philly,
with the NFL
Philly,
experience.
And for playoffs, you would say Philly and Atlanta have the two, at least in the NFC, have quality experience in that backup. But there's just not enough good quality quarterbacks that can go around the NFL right now.
And how many teams, if like the Aaron Rodgers situation, I guess he was concussed today.
Yes.
How many teams will they really stick to that, that little formula that they worked out on the concussion thing? I mean,
oh yeah.
Or will it be for real? Or
well, here's
will
my
they say,
thing.
oh, he went to Lord's and got healed.
You know, as big as that game was, be honest, I was surprised he wasn't back in that game against Detroit. No. I mean, that defensive line is tremendous. They're one of the best in the league, and we're not just saying that because they're in this division, but you look at the numbers, they create a ton of sacks. They're getting no help from their linebackers or secondary in those sacks. It will be interesting because you put Aaron Rodgers in that game, and I think Aaron Rodgers at 70% finds a way to score one touchdown.
No doubt, right. I mean, but they didn't. They set him after he got nicked up, but everything's gonna be on the table this time around. He will get well, I predict.
Coming up, we are going to check in with the poll results. We'll also check in with our Tom Cooper, and he will tell us what you're having to say. Results, U.S. Cellular poll question. What are your feelings after the blowout loss to New England? Here's what you had to say. Pretty much evenly spread amongst the audience. 31% said at least the Bears didn't lose ground to the Packers. 24% say the Patriots are the best team in the NFL. And then the Bears showed their true colors, comes in third. And just behind that, just one game playoffs still in sight. I'd probably go that route. What would you guys have to say?
I'd say, it was just one game, and exactly right. Keep your focus down on what's the important thing, and that is making the playoffs. You're gonna lose some games along the way. This one goes in the L column. You move on, and you figure out a way to beat the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night.
Let's take a look at the remaining schedule for the Bears and the Green Bay Packers next Monday night. They will be taking on the Vikings. Again, we don't know exactly where that's going to be or Brett Favre's status for that game. Then it's home against the Jets, and the Jets are struggling mightily right now. Mark Sanchez, the magic that he had against some subpar teams that he pulled out in the final seconds has not worked in recent weeks, and they're struggling big time. Then, of course, the showdown with the Packers the day after January 1st. And then you look at the Packers schedule next week in Foxborough. 26 straight that Brady's won there?
Right, and then followed up by the Giants. I don't know if you've seen the Giants' defense as of late. Those guys are bringing it.
Kind of looking like they did it against the Bears.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, may want one of those Kelso helmets added on top because those guys can bring the heat. Yeah.
All right, let's check in one more time with Tom Cooper. What are they saying? What's trending right now on CSNChicago.com?
Still hopeful optimism, I guess, over here on the website. Thanks, everybody who joins us on CSNChicago.com. Remember, tomorrow, 2 more chances to chat. 5:30 on Monday, CTL Interactive. We'll find out who David Kaplan wants to fire after this game. And then 7 o'clock, Moonball and Chats that talks about the Bears. Before we go, Jigs, this one from Phil, just for you. Tell Jigs to keep that Kool-Aid ready. People still want to drink it.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks, Philly. I'll do that, my friend.
That one's for Phil.
All right, Coop. Nice job as always, and we'll talk to you next Monday night after the Vikings game. Last but not least, as we depart from this show that actually lasted longer than the Bears game because that game was over in the second quarter. I mean, did you look at this one too and say? There's no question that in Dallas we're going to see the New England Patriots. Did you take that away from today's game, barring any major injury?
I think so. I think they're playing really well. And I think now all of a sudden you think about the conditions that they played in the day and the way that offense was moving the football, defensively coming up with turnovers. They are playing some really good football now.
I think if New England meets Baltimore, Baltimore can tag them again. I really believe that.
We will see what happens. Coming up next, it's ACC basketball. Clemson taking on Florida State. We will see you next Monday night after the Bears and Vikings go at it, and the Bears go for the division.